Greetings, everyone, and welcome to a nauseatingly nasty yet nightmarishly nutritious edition of Monster Party.
Monster
Party.
Monster
Party.
I'm hungry.
Monster Party. Good. Monster Party is people.
Spoiler.
Oh, we're
man.
having fun.
We are having fun.
Yeah, as usual.
We're getting close to those holidays.
Yes, we
That's
are.
right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
festive. And speaking of festive stuff, who are you, sir?
Well, thank you, sir. I am Matt Weinhold.
I am SHAWN SHERIDAN.
I'm Larry Stroth.
And I'm James Gonis.
Yes, this is the Thanksgiving episode, if you haven't
That's
guessed
right.
it already.
Loosely, yes.
Yeah, let loose. And what's special about Thanksgiving?
You know what? We put on the feedback. That's what we do. We get together often with our relatives, but it could be friends or friends and relatives. And we sit down and we have a big dinner. Traditionally, it's turkey, but it could be something else. I'm not going to judge what you eat for Thanksgiving, but it better be damn good.
What if it's popcorn and jelly beans?
And toast.
What?
And toast.
Yeah.
Oh.
The toast, you know, if you could do something with the toast, but there's not much you can do with the jelly beans. Jelly beans are just jelly beans. Yeah.
I know, but Matt, what is this festive topic that we're
Well,
talking
since we are celebrating Thanksgiving and we're in the season of eating and food, the title for this episode is Fearsome Food.
Fearsome food.
Fearsome food.
Delicious.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it can be strange food.
Well,
that we've
here's the thing.
seen.
Here's the thing. Last year with Ken Daly, we did diabolical dinners.
That's right.
Now, in that episode, we were talking about the meals, the get together.
The families.
The families getting together, a meal with a bunch of people, or the presentation of the whole thing together, as opposed to the individual items. So for this episode, we're gonna tackle the food, the ingredients, the things that we serve.
And maybe there was something
meal.
you saw in a film that disturbed you, because sometimes in a film they may show a meal, but you don't really know what it is. But other films,
True.
it's really specific, or TV shows or whatever.
Right.
But Matt, to do this, we need someone who understands food, don't we?
We need a connoisseur. We need an eater. We need someone.
We need a frightful foodie.
Yeah. We want someone with a petrifying palate.
boy.
Someone who understands
Oh,
food.
boy.
Food. And has actually introduced food to the world.
That's
The Mr. Creosote, as it were, of
Yes.
Monster Party.
That's right.
Ladies-
That's right.
Ladies and
Nom, nom,
gentlemen,
nom, nom, nom.
our guest for this episode, he's like a family member, so it's
He is.
perfect, right?
It is.
And
Yeah.
he has been a guest on the show many times. He's an amazing writer, actor, artist, Shamrock Shake spokesmodel. Yes, as we discussed before the show started. And one of the hosts of the hit podcast, Nerd Poker with Brian Posehn. Please welcome back our dear friend and someday Larry replacement, Ken Daly.
Ken Daly!
Thank you. And I would never do the show without Larry.
Wow.
I have to
You know
leave
what?
both of us.
I think you would. I have a feeling you would. Yeah.
Well, if it comes that time, we'll see. We'll see. But Ken, it's always great to see you.
Always
It
good to
is.
see you
And
guys.
like we
is,
brought up
yeah.
before, you just didn't do the Shamrock Shake commercial. You introduced Chicken McNuggets to the
That's
world.
right.
I
Yes.
did indeed. I
Yeah.
did.
That's
right.
Way back in 1979 or something.
Wow.
76.
And
I don't know
so-
what, it was a
Iconic
ways
food
back.
item.
So So when you go to conventions and stuff, and you see the
Yeah.
guy who introduced like fillet of fish, you like
Yeah.
give him a nasty look.
I'm not
or
talking
something?
that guy.
Yeah. Is there any
Well-
kind
He's
of
an asshole.
competitiveness?
Oh man, but yeah, you introduced chicken McNuggets to the world. So when I think of
Yeah,
you,
you're welcome, everybody.
No, I think of you as Mr. Chicken McNugget, and
Enjoy your heart
and,
attacks
I-
and artery replacements.
hey,
Oh.
everything in moderation, my friend. Everything
Except
in
chicken
moderation.
McNuggets.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
yeah. You can't eat just 12.
Right.
By the way,
40 pack.
Well, they come in-
McDonald's has this mambo sauce now.
Yeah, I've heard. I know.
It's
What's that?
really
What's that
good.
like? What
It's
is
kind of like a spicy tamarind sauce. It's really
And it's-
nice.
isn't it like
Wow.
limited time? too?
Limited edition sauce. So
So you should get some, Larry, and save them. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, and of course the McRib is back for a short
Speaking
time.
of fearsome food,
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
really.
I don't know what the fuck that is, but it's bad.
Officially seared formed pork.
Now,
area.
wait, when you say bad, you mean bad in a good way. It's like, oh,
No, I don't.
It's
No,
like,
I'm
it's
not-
like in a Michael Jackson way.
In a-
bad.
no.
I like terrible.
In an awful, horrible.
James, you've eaten the McRib.
I have.
Yeah,
I've
I
actually
lived on
never
that
had it. I've never had
In
it.
college,
I've had
I
a
had that
McRib.
like every other day. Yeah.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Do you
I'm not
still like
proud.
it?
I would not go near it again. Actually.
Really?
Just from my
Really?
memory.
But you
If
eat
you like
McDonald's.
spongy pork,
Yes.
That's exactly
Which
what
is
it
not
yeah.
right at all.
Well,
Right.
every once in a while, you might be in the mood for a little spongy pork.
That
No,
has to be really,
no,
it's all
no, I'm
really
not.
made from
over.
pork.
That's the
meat,
name of my band,
bones.
by the way.
Spongy pork
pork?
is they kick ass, Sean.
Well, this is great talking about spongy pork, but it
Then
kind
let's
of
keep
falls,
doing it.
No,
Let's
it's
get- yeah.
it falls into the category.
When's the McDonald's tongue burger coming out?
Oh my god!
Yeah, really.
So, hey, Ken, why don't you kick us off here with fearsome food? Is there
Yeah.
a fearsome food
All right.
you could mention to us? Something that was
Cinema.
strange? Or unique?
I could think of something.
Okay.
There was a haunted piece of meat in a movie that I just rewatched recently, and it's a
Really?
really great, fun movie called Poltergeist.
Oh,
It's on my list. On my list.
scene.
And there's a possessed steak in Poltergeist that crawls across the counter and then sort of barfs its own insides out. all
Yeah,
over
it's
the
like
place.
pus and like
Yeah,
growths come on it.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
it's
such a
good.
simple little effect, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
And you know what's
Yeah.
funny about that is the movie theater that I worked at showed that film. And what was interesting is the sound in that theater was fantastic. It wasn't so much the movement of the steak crawling. It was the sound.
The wet.
The
Yeah,
wet,
Wet slappy sound.
Oh god. And it freaked people out. And when
Yeah,
that theater
yeah.
was packed, that scene, people were like, ugh. And then when the barf scene happened, oh
Well, also because it was like one of the parapsychologists was getting like a late night snack, right?
Yeah,
yes.
So
Yeah,
and he also had a
exactly.
drumstick, right, which ended up with like maggots all over
maggots.
it.
Yeah,
He-
he
he
dropped
Yeah.
it.
Those,
dro- he
those
drops
ghost
it.
pranksters.
Yeah, they're wacky.
They're always
But the-
pulling gags.
Poltergeists are excellent chefs.
The drumstick was actually an example of poultrygeist.
Ah,
which is
All
a
right.
movie.
Well, we
That's a
can't beat
movie,
that,
yeah,
so
that
let's
is.
end it here.
I don't see. Yet another reason why that movie kind of blows.
What?
Oh.
See, I like that. But
Doesn't
it's the
blow.
build.
I
Matt,
love
Matt,
that
it's the
movie.
build up.
Poltergeist sucks.
No, it
Oh.
doesn't.
I've said it before. I've
What's
said it
wrong with
before,
it?
and I'll say it again. It's not. There's one scare in it, and it's not that. That is funny. That is
But
when
Matt,
I
Matt, you
saw that-
forget.
when I
The
saw
tree?
that.
The clown.
No.
The-
All of that's lame hack bullshit.
Disagree.
And the only thing that is
Disagree. I protest.
no.
Let
The
him
only thing that's funny-
spew. Let him spew.
The
Go back
only
it out.
See how nice we are to each other. We give ourselves the opportunity
Let him
to
spew.
Go ahead and barf your lies and bullshit.
like a possessed steak, I will barf my opinion. I guess there's one scary scene for me in the movie, and that's when I forget who looks at the table and chairs and then turns away and then looks
Yeah,
back
yeah,
and they're all
Jabba the
there.
Hutt.
Yeah,
Like, that is a genuinely scary moment. Everything else is like
You're fine with the clowns?
It's so forced and not fun in any way. And then by the time we get to the ghost in the doorway, which is like the fucking Brady Bunch got their, started crafting that afternoon and came up with their scary ghost puppet. There's not, and then 45 minutes of the little person go into the light. No, not that light, that light. No, stay away from the light. Go away.
I love it all.
But Matt, you forget though the meat scene too is a build up to when the guy looks in the mirror and his face is getting torn off. That's a great shock. That's a great effect.
Yeah, but see,
that's a great effect.
But see, this is like, look at you, Sean. You were talking about at one point. You were talking about Fright Night 2, which I went back and watched. Now there are some fun effects in that movie, but it's a shitty movie. And just because there is a good effect in a movie doesn't mean that it's a
of course.
movie.
I think the family dynamic is fantastic at Poltergeist. It's a very natural,
and also
lovely
look
family.
at that movie at its time. It was a suburban family.
1982, Matt.
That kind of those kind
the
of
year
effects,
of all great films.
and those kind of effects were like new to like horror cinema. It was a kind of like it was a big budget, but it was a big budget Spielberg movie that had scary ghost effects and gore in it, which was kind of different because you didn't see that much from Spielberg yet. And there was the argument.
So all of a sudden, because now Spielberg is doing it, now it's great because
I'm just saying that at the time, look at its in the context of when it came out, and the fact that
I wasn't scared by it then.
So the corpses coming out, the corpses coming out of the pool around Joe McDwayne, was that scary to you?
See, it's
actual
like
real
skeletons. That King. It's like saying, that King Kong from 1933. Oh, it looks like animation. And Matt, see the problem. It's like I agree with Sean. You have to look at it from that 1982 world. The effects in that film, a lot of that had never been done before. You don't like that creature that
lie.
comes out.
That's a lie.
No, in the pool.
That is a lie.
Thing that is cool.
Here is one other effect that I did like, that I thought was very interesting. And I love the house going in on itself.
Imploding.
Great.
Yeah, that I enjoyed. And so I'll grant you that some of the practical effects here and there I think are okay. I think the puppet ghost is laughable and horrible. Look, I know I'm the dissenting view here.
You're the stinker.
You're such a dissenting
Everybody loves Poltergeist.
I'm not saying it's
no one was annoyed by 30 minutes of the psychic lady yelling at a ball of light.
No, I think it was totally into it. You didn't know when you were seeing it for the first time. You didn't know where it was going, Matt, unless you, with your I know everything about movies. I mean, as you're watching, I know what's going to happen. And little lady's going to say, no, don't go to the line.
No, I was saying her lines before she said them in the movie theater.
So I'm really curious. Are you the one guy in the theater, and everyone leaves the theater at the end of the movie goes, that was great. And you're like, that was stupid. That puppet and everything.
No, I don't. That's not my way. I don't. That's more of a Larry thing to get up and go, that was stupid, and turn the page. I just what happened is that the lights went up and I woke up and went, it's over.
That's all the good parts.
So you missed it. I think.
But I love just the beginning of Carol Ann in front of the TV. It's
cool.
It's such an awesome beginning.
I love the last shot of the final shot.
It's a good idea. It's a good idea, but it goes into nowhere. It's
no. And you know what's great about that scene, James? That is a slice of our history. When you go to hotels now,
our history.
Yes, because you can't go to a hotel now and here's a TV on a cart. Let me roll it up. You can't do that. It's all flat screen against the wall.
Remember the good old days where you could take the TV out and now
that's
you can't.
Right. That's right.
So wait a minute.
It's a slice. It's a slice of 1982.
Now I'm supposed to judge a movie by the fact that, there's an old TV in it.
I'm commenting on
It has to be
James.
good. It's a slice of history.
I'm commenting on James's
Look
comment.
at that rotary phone.
Which is a very good comment. They had a rotary phone in the film. It's all over the
Genius,
place.
you're right. I take it all back, Larry.
No, I
A
just
rotary phone and a
I suppose you hate
TV.
Twilight Zone too, because they did the same thing.
Okay. This is great.
was
I
in
think
black
we're ready.
and white,
No,
Ken.
I think how much you hate Poltergeist.
Oh, now you like black and white.
Okay, we know how much you hate Poltergeist. Thank you. I think we're ready to move on. Thank you, Ken.
Hey,
Good
don't
one.
tell me when
No.
we're ready to move on.
No. What you want to keep arguing about a movie and not talk about fearsome food? I'm ready to talk about fearsome food.
Why are you
Topic.
screaming?
No, I'm just saying. I'm saying. Matt Weinhold. I want to talk about how much I hate Poltergeist. You've gone on for like
Oh my
20
God, who was
minutes.
talking? Was that Larry or Matt? I can't tell.
That sounded like Eddie Deason.
Okay, I'm ready to move on. Everyone else.
All
Let's
right.
think about who wants
I
to move
guess
on.
so.
Okay,
Go ahead.
I'd like to. Okay, it's not so much a fearsome food, but it's a food that when I saw it, it was like, ooh, that's an interesting food. And I'm talking about from classic Star Trek from 1967, Journey to Babel, the cubed food. And and now this was the first
I like
appearance of this is the first appearance of Spock's parents. But as a kid, for people who are not familiar, James. So what happens is the Enterprise is supposed to take all these ambassadors to this one planet to kind of figure out, like, they have to solve these problems, okay, or a problem. And so they have this banquet, and there's all this unique food on this giant table, and you have all the different ambassadors. And when it starts out, it's interesting because Captain Kirk is doing a little monologue, but it starts off with these two little copper aliens, and one of them is Jerry Marin, who was the little munchkin in Wizard of Oz who hands the lollipop.
That's right.
But what's cool is if you look at all the food, it's like, what is that? They're like cubed shapes.
Future food.
I always thought it was like cantaloupe or something.
I think it's I think it's like
squares.
dyed melon.
Okay. So you guys knew what it was. I'm just saying.
no,
I didn't know what it was.
Not every observation tonight is going to be an attack on you, Larry. Calm the fuck down.
You guys, Larry was fooled by melons.
Oh, wow.
But listen, this came out in 1967 on television, and what they're trying to do is because color, they want people to get color TVs. Star Trek was very colorful, and so that
whole scene is beautiful.
It's a beautiful scene.
Yeah.
Not only just the all the aliens look colorful, but all of the food looks interesting and odd. And I remember seeing that as a kid, going, "Oh, what is that cube thing?" Ooh, and I was just dying to transport myself onto that ship and try some of this funky food that's shaped like squares and triangles and stuff. I was excited. Maybe
You didn't
not
try to
necessarily.
make any?
Well,
Somebody should. Yeah.
Go get some cantaloupe.
Yeah. Blue dye.
the Ben
those
Franklin?
little squeeze bottles of dye.
Food coloring.
See, you guys
Food
are
coloring.
in the know. You guys
No,
are
I'm
like
with you
behind
100%.
me. Well, I mean, the funny thing is,
I'm on your
fearsome
side, Larry.
food. Thank you, Ken. It's like
You're welcome.
it's an interesting, it's
That
a
makes
unique and
one of us.
interesting. It's a unique and interesting food that I remember seeing in a genre-related thing that really stood out to me, and I wanted to share that with everybody because I thought it was very Thanksgiving-ish. So
I
don't
do
know.
remember
I don't know if
that
it was really
very.
frightful.
I do remember, Larry. I remember watching that as a kid numerous times and being fascinated by that. And what I remember thinking was that doesn't really look too delicious or satisfying. It didn't seem like a
Well, they were like-
satisfying meal.
Yeah, they're like finger foods, though. Like little,
Yes.
So it's like an hors d'oeuvre, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I
Fruity
saw.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll buy that.
James, I think you should check this one out. You might like it.
Just
No,
for the
it's my
food
favorite.
alone.
It's my favorite episode.
I would, yeah. That scene in particular is just beautifully shot
Yes.
and set up.
Yeah.
It is. So there's my fearsome food. Sean, why don't you take it?
Okay, well, this one I think should be a pretty obvious one as far as fearsome food goes, and that would be from 1980. It takes all kinds of critters to make Farmer Vincent fritters.
I know.
Motel Hell.
I knew you were going to bring that one up.
Oh my god.
Yeah, in the film, Rory Calhoun is a Farmer Vincent, and he basically harvests unsuspecting travelers who come by his hotel, and he uses them to make his famous smoked meats and sausages. But the best part of it is how he does it, because he has to harvest them and cure them. So he buries them alive up to their neck in the ground and severs their vocal cords so they can't scream. So you just hear them
Right?
and he just
Pretty
uses them
good.
to make his meat, his famous meats. It's pretty memorable.
It's
You could
twisted.
be
Absolutely.
like
It doesn't-
you could be like the Rich Little of 80s horror movie sounds.
yes. But
Shut
it's a
up.
pretty
Why were they buried in the ground though?
well.
To
I
get the
think that-
nutrients, right?
Yeah,
got it.
It's like
There's like tubes going in too, I think, right?
Yeah,
Were
yeah.
there?
It was
I don't
like
remember.
I don't
it was like he was like planting them, but I always said that
A
was
little
that was the
vegetarian
most
of him.
gruesome part of the movie in a way. I always felt the movie was kind of uneven, to be honest.
Yes,
but
I agree.
It's
and
goofy.
it's not a masterpiece, but the elements of it and the ideas of it are great.
It's
and
it's creepier than Poltergeist.
But Sean,
Yes.
wouldn't you
Yes.
say that whole marketing campaign? Because I don't think it was considered. It's not a big budget film, but
No,
boy,
no.
I think that campaign really worked because
Yeah.
that was a creepy
Well,
that
yeah.
poster.
And it's on the poster. Yeah, right.
And it's great
Oh.
because this is during the slasher craze, but it was nice because it was a little bit off the
Yeah, it's
off
different.
kilter from a slasher, is a little bit Texas Chainsaw in a way, but
Yeah.
like lighter,
Its own
but
take.
yeah, but I thought but that's to me that's a great example of fearsome foods. So
A little
And
bit
wasn't there
tourist crap.
there was a
Yeah,
an
yes.
image? There was an image on Fangoria magazine with the guy in the
yeah,
Yeah.
because he would put on like a
Pig-
pig's head with a
pig heads.
chainsaw.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's weird because when I first saw it, I thought, "What? It's like the Pig's Revenge or something." I wasn't
Yeah.
sure what it was
In fact-
exactly.
In fact, I'm surprised. I'm actually shocked that nobody has tried to remake or reimagine that film. In a more realistic,
Yeah.
gruesome way. But I'm probably better not to though.
No, I think you're right.
It would be good as a musical.
Yeah, yeah,
That's true. Yeah, I
Sean,
think that's a
that's a-
great idea.
But that's a great fearsome food.
All right, there you go.
James, how about you, James?
Well, in Stephen King's Thinner,
Yes.
an obese lawyer strikes with his car and kills an old gypsy woman. And the woman's father puts a curse on the lawyer, after which the lawyer starts to rapidly lose weight.
Right.
And he keeps losing weight, thus the title, Thinner. And throughout the entire story, he's waging a war on this gypsy family, trying to lift the curse. Finally, he's given a strawberry pie.
Right.
And he's told that if you give the pie to someone else, then it will transfer the curse. So spoiler, he's suddenly become very suspicious and resentful of his wife, who he suspects is having an affair. So he gives her the pie, but unbeknownst to him, their daughter, who he loves very much, also has a piece of the pie. So he basically dooms both of them.
Right.
And in the Tom Holland film from 1996, the pie is given a little bit of special effects where it seems to kind of bubble up a little bit by itself.
Right,
It's
right.
got something moving inside of it. So yeah, I mean that's a pretty creepy pastry there.
Well, I like it. It's such an innocent item too. A
Sure.
strawberry pie. What can be wrong with that?
Yeah. And even
Yeah.
with the pulsing of it in the movie, I still wanted to eat that fucking pie. That pie.
Right.
See, it's funny, Matt, because that would almost entice me. Ooh, look
Yeah.
at it. It's moving. I want
It's
to.
bubbling.
It'll flop
Yeah.
in my
Oh,
mouth.
yeah.
You just
So
pull the air
basi-
bladders
so-
out.
So basically,
Yeah.
if one of us was cursed and handed over one of those strawberry pies, we're all doomed. So because we're all going to eat it.
Well, it'd
Yeah.
be terrible if everybody's getting high and it's like that moment of well, do I damn myself? Fuck it. I'm gonna have a slice of pie.
Right.
You know how good it's going to taste.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, it's gonna be
James,
so good.
that's a great fearsome food.
Yeah.
Well, thank
All
you.
right, Matt, what you got for us?
Well, I think what I would like to discuss, and we've discussed this film many times before, but it needs to be discussed from a foodie angle,
Okay.
and that is 1973's Soylent Green.
Of course.
Oh,
Yeah.
Let's just get it out of the way. Let's just
Oh,
yeah.
Out of
I'm
the way.
so glad you brought it up. I'm so
Yeah.
glad. Yeah.
So now in this dystopian future with overpopulation, everybody is now eating this food supplement cracker called Soylent Green. There's also like a Soylent Orange, I believe, and there's
Right.
different Soylent
Or like yellow.
flavors.
If
But
there's different Soylents.
Soylent
Yeah.
beige.
Soylent Beige, which is
Soylent
if you're trying
Plaid.
to lose weight, Soylent Plaid is with when you get drunk, But one thing that always got me about that movie was I always wondered what that thing tasted like.
Right.
Because when you think about it, it's made of human beings. Spoiler alert. But everyone ate it like a cracker. And I'm trying to think, like, considering it's made of really meat, I would think that it tasted less like a cracker and more like maybe like a pork rind, maybe. Like, what do you guys think?
Maybe. I think it would be
feel like
salty, probably.
Yeah,
Salty.
they've tried to push the sea algae angle, like that it was made from
Yes.
That's right.
algae. So maybe
So it's just
more
like a chemical flavor that gives it
or like
that?
a salmon
Yeah.
jerky,
Look,
maybe.
Look,
Do
Matt,
you-
let's say you take a person, okay?
Okay. All right.
And
I'm with
you
you.
know, they passed away. Let's say you
Right,
chop them up.
okay.
You chop
Got
them
it.
up.
I'm there.
Okay, and you throw
Done
it in
done
like
it, been
a
there.
pan, like or a grill
Right.
or something.
In a pan
you
and a
get it
grill,
to,
right?
well, you do it till it gets like really, really fine. I'm saying like when someone gets cremated, you take all the moisture out. What I think, it's not just they kind of hack up those people and just mix it up. What I think is it's a process. It's a process because all the material that makes us up, they just take out the water base, and you have this powder that they would add like a flour or an artificial flour or whatever to give it that dry Ritz cracker. Well, maybe not a Ritz or
I can see
saltine
that.
cracker.
They would-
That's how
they
I mean, my logic. That's my logic.
Well,
you know,
I think there's something to be said for that. I think you need something to keep it in a cracker kind of form. But
Right.
I think how they make it, how it seemed to me like when you saw all the bodies being dumped at the end into that water where they would then go and they go down the conveyor belt and they come out the other side and they're crackers. I think what happens is that they use every single part of that body. Everything. I think they use.
Yeah, probably right. Yeah. I also think though, I bet you though too that they don't. I guess that the corporations don't go out of their way though to make it super delicious. Like it's probably relatively bland.
Yes.
Like I mean, it like has a decent taste, just enough to make like you want to eat it. But like this isn't gourmet food. This is for the populace that's overpopulation. They got to feed millions and millions of people. Just get it. Process the stuff and get it out there and give it to the people.
Well,
and maybe Sean, there's what we didn't see is there's a can of Soylent Whiz, a little can that it's like a cheese, like an artificial cheese.
That's the other name of my other band.
Okay,
well, he did have a spread though, right?
Because I'm
just have a spread.
I'm just
on it?
I can't
look.
I can't
when you're trying to feed a lot of people, of course, it's like what Ken was mentioning, back in the pioneer days where people would use every part of the buffalo or something,
right.
And so it's like, you would think if everything on the planet, if all the food resources are dying, it's like what's left is humans, and it's like, okay, well, hey, I'll just check out early. And then have myself hacked up and made into food to keep our, species alive. It makes sense to use every part of the human.
Of course. And that's what I'm saying is it from what it seems like in the movie, they use everything. I don't know what they do with the hair, but maybe it all just goes into, and like you were saying,
protein.
It becomes
all protein.
Like just protein, a powder or whatever. But wait a minute. So the thing is that I think there are relatively few, certainly dying out like natural flavors. So I think every flavor is a chemical.
Yes.
So
you're right.
So I think, like Sean, when you were saying that it's just tasty enough, I think what they might do is they might give it like an MSG type thing, where it kind of fucks with your brain to get you to want to eat it, and so everything is chemical except the actual meat product.
Right.
But
I think the green was vegetable, the yellow was cheese, and the red was meat.
Okay. All right.
By the way, I, as a very lazy student back in the day, I read the book Soylent Green and did a book report.
Oh yeah, really?
Oh, because I could watch the movie and read the book, and or maybe not read the book. Who knows?
Okay.
But so I did a book report presentation in class, and I made Soylent Green. Saltine crackers.
Wow.
No, my wife and I tried to do that one Halloween too.
I handed them all out to everybody.
did?
Everybody's eating their crackers, and then I told the story of Soylent Green.
No, what did you make? What did you make the crackers with?
Saltines and food coloring.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Ken, that is so cool.
Now, Ken, if I remember correctly, Make Room, which is the book by Harry Harrison that was turned into Soylent Green. Remind me, I don't. The whole
I don't remember
Soylent Green is made out of people, I believe, is not even a part of it. Yeah, it was more about just overpopulation.
I
Okay.
wonder if that's interesting.
And if
Maybe I never finished the book and just did a book report on the movie. I think that's what I did.
It's actually a pretty good book, and
Is it dystopian?
It is very dystopian, and it's a lot bleaker in a lot of ways than the movie, except for the human flesh part. I mean, obviously that's
And the
terrible.
suicide.
But like the Thorne's situation of how he lives is way worse in the book.
Oh yeah.
Like
Wow,
he's
okay.
got,
Sounds
he's got
right. I
like
think I remember
he's
that.
like got a curtain between like a whole nother family.
Oh yeah, right.
No.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And so at one point, Cheryl decides she's going to go off with him and goes to his place. And they're living on the other side of this curtain. And it smells from the other family are coming
Let me
through.
take you away from here, baby.
And
Wow.
she's like, she's used to the good life.
Right.
So
right.
she ends up taking off. And it's like, I can't take this anymore.
No.
And
Right.
Yeah.
goes
Not a
back to her old life.
Sure.
Right.
Well, if you think about it, the truth of the matter is Cheryl's lifespan
Sure.
in that world, in that world, or I should say in that area, it'll be short because, the guys who come in or the people who come in, those wealthy people, they want a really attractive person. When you start to show a little bit of age, I think
Sure.
they'll
That's a
bring
good
in a
point.
new piece
True.
of furniture.
Yeah, that's a good point.
True.
So
True.
it's like she knows a lot of these women or younger people know that their time in this place is limited. And so it's like, I want to try and stretch that out as long as possible before I have to go back to the regular population. And let me
Stretch
just
out?
say,
was that a crack at the older people?
no, but just for the sake of argument here, you brought this up, Matt. It's a great fearsome food. I know a lot of people
Is my time coming to an end?
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying. People like to poke fun at this film, but I think it's a great film. I think Heston is great.
Who pokes fun at it though?
I'm just saying it's like
No, I don't know anybody.
It's a classic 70s sci-fi, and it's really cool.
I watch it twice a year, and I think it's so good.
Yeah, it's
and
great.
I think
it's a good movie.
and I think that it really holds up because the alternate future that it presents still works.
It's real. It's believable still.
Edward G. Robinson is fantastic.
Oh, he's so
my
great.
God, yeah.
If there's anything that'll make you appreciate what you have, even if you don't think you have much, when you see this film, it does make you appreciate what you have.
That's true.
What's
and it
weird,
makes me want
though-
to have pork rinds. So
What's
Go
weird
ahead,
is
Ken.
that there's actually a company named Soylent now. And I think
Really?
they do
I thought that
soy
was
products.
I thought that was a joke. Was that not a joke?
No, it's a real
Ken?
company. They have
Really?
a website and
See,
everything,
now
yeah.
if
Unless
some-
maybe it is a joke. I don't know.
I could see that being now. Somebody should put out Soylent Green crackers. Now you
I
know
have
they would
some.
they would
You
sell.
You would buy
They
it.
had some. They did have some
Guys.
press release thing.
Yeah.
James, would you buy that? Box of Soylent Green?
Oh yeah, I'd have to.
Yeah, Soylent is a meal replacement powder. Scary.
Wow.
No way.
Interesting.
Look at that. And for our listeners,
So
Matt
where-
has just shown
Matt-
it to us.
Yeah. So where can you get those, Matt? Is that something?
I got these from
Oh,
Jake
that's something
Johansson.
else. That's cool.
Wow.
Soylent
They had
Green
the different. When the
crackers.
movie came out, they had round cans that were Soylent Green.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's to actually match the.
That's interesting, though.
Interesting.
Wow,
So
I gotta get some of those.
Yeah, and you could crush them up and mix them with your Thanksgiving stuffing.
Soylent.
Have you
Wow.
actually opened them,
Wow.
Matt, and tried them?
I have not. No,
Okay.
Oh well, you're gonna
because
have to do that soon.
Larry's voice went into my head.
Oh.
Yeah.
I listened to it and then I thought, how good could these be?
And
Keep
that's
it in the
same,
box.
That's the same thing I said to myself when I got my bag of Superman pretzels for 1988, and I still have them sealed in the bag. Matt, that was great. That's a great fearsome food.
All
like
right.
it.
Well, thank you.
Or-
I'm going to
Well,
go
Ken-
home now.
No. So, Ken, why don't you give us another fearsome food?
Well, as you know, 82 was the year of only great movies like Poltergeist.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
But there's also the movie Creepshow,
Yes.
featuring a little episode called Father's Day,
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
with the guy screaming for Bedelia and his Father's Day cake.
I want my
Uh,
cake.
Yeah, and then at the end, You get the cake, and it's Bedelia's head with candles in it.
But
right.
her dad he's pissed, right? What does she do? What did she do? Fill in the blank.
I don't know.
there.
She killed him, I guess.
Yeah, and
I think so,
and-
yeah. He's like he wants revenge on his whole family, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah, and all the greedy
classic-
kids are there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your classic EC ending where the
Yeah, that's a good one.
But
The
that
cake
is that
hilarious.
image at the end
Yeah,
where
her head
the
kind of-
the decaying father comes in as like a skeleton holding her head on the plate,
It's awesome.
and she has that she has like a top, or the top of her head is covered with like frosting with
Yeah.
with candles.
and I
Yeah.
believe, didn't someone make a toy?
Yeah, well, there's a little reaction
yeah.
size figure, and I
Yeah.
think there's a large figure too.
I
There's a
think they
figure.
just came
But
out with
recently,
that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good figure. That's a good figure. But yeah, that's a
I-
classic one.
Head cake.
I'm not a big fan of Creepshow, but
I've come back to it.
The critic's back again.
well, it is certainly not scary in any way, but I do enjoy the Father's Day zombie guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
great.
so it's completely phony and ridiculous because the head is way too big.
Yeah, because when
But
you
it's
saw the
very
guy,
easy.
he's
Yeah.
thin and gaunt,
But-
and then he
yeah.
becomes this right. Yeah,
But I liked the detail of it.
yeah, it's a
I
classic
enjoyed that
EC
part.
monster. Yeah,
Yeah,
It's-
and I would probably
And the way they light it and they do the
colors,
graphics
the
behind it.
colors.
Although the lighting.
Oh boy!
but see
okay, here we
now
go.
I come back to that because I know what you mean, Matt. Because I went back and forth, but now I think
comic book.
age has been kind of better to that movie. Like for instance,
Oh my God.
I really like the Leslie Nielsen segment. I think
Yeah.
that's a great segment.
Leslie Nielsen's great in that.
I
They're
think
all
that's
good in
I
it.
think that's the best one.
That's one of the strongest ones. Yeah,
I think it's the best
Danson.
one.
and Ted
Ted
Danson.
Danson.
Because those creatures at the end, I think, are the scariest.
Yeah,
of-
they're really
of
cool. And
everything.
and
The bug one is unwatchable.
you don't like the cockroach one?
It's terrible. It's
Really?
I like
It's
that one.
horrible.
The
My favorite
cockroaches.
segment, but-
it's so
It's
so
E.G.
dull and
E.G.
boring
Marshall,
and-
right? E.G. Marshall.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
the
yeah.
bugs
It's just-
coming out of his mouth.
But it's
just
all very
giant waste of
comics.
time.
What is
That's a
wrong
very
with
easy
you?
comic story.
What is wrong with you?
It is
Do you
very
not
easy
like horror
comics. I mean,
comics?
it's super stylized, but that's the
Look,
point, you know?
Guys, you know,
Why are you
look,
on
It's like
this
it's like
show.
the Spider Night Gallery episode.
Yeah,
Remember that
well,
when the guy
I
tries
mean,
to wash the spider down the
look,
sink?
and it gets bigger and bigger. Yeah.
I watch Creep Show now, and I get a couple laughs out of it. See,
But I think
when
it's
you
tongue
go-
in cheek.
Yeah,
I know, but
totally
it's-
tongue in cheek.
But isn't tongue in cheek supposed to be that it's kind of funny? And when is it funny?
I don't know. I think I enjoy it. I mean, I'm not saying again, it's not the
All right,
greatest
guys,
movie ever
look,
made, but it's
I
better,
don't-
it's better than Creep Show 2.
I know I know people are gonna jump all over my shit and go, "Oh, Creep Show's so great." Look, if you like that kind of stylized thing, and if it
Creep
makes
Show
you
made
laugh,
$1 billion, Matt.
Yeah, it
It
was lots of
must be good.
awards.
So many people went to
Like,
see it.
you're allowed to like what you like. This is just my taste.
Oh, yeah,
when I compare
I have
Creep
Matt's
Show,
permission.
when you
It's
compare
fine. Creep Show's fine.
when you compare Creep Show though to the Amicus, Vault of Horror, and
Sure.
Tales from the Crypt,
Sure,
those
sure.
movies are so much better. And,
And
I
better,
think,
and- yeah.
and I think they capture the real horror of the EC comics because
Sure,
even
sure.
the EC comics had humor in them, but the terror was married to it it was like they
Yeah.
went hand
Yeah,
in
and I would say
hand.
it's very 80s Creep Show. It's
Yeah,
very
because
80s.
you're right. The Amicus ones had a much more nastier streak to them, which I
Exactly.
appreciated.
which
Yeah,
is what
and
the
done in
EC comics had.
It's the
Yes,
70s.
that's true. And also,
But that's
done in
also
a
the
fraction of
70s. It was
budget.
darker.
Yeah. But
I guess
agree,
it's
but-
my preference. The one thing I will say for Creepshow is that I admire what Romero was trying to do. I
Yeah,
understand what he was trying to do,
Yeah.
and for me, it didn't work. And I know for a lot of other people,
Stephen
it
King's
did,
finest
so-
performance.
No,
Oh
honestly,
my,
Absolutely.
oh my.
Yeah, James.
My expectations were really high because it was Romero, it was King. Right at the time where I was reading everything by King and I was really into it, I walked out sorely disappointed. I was
Really?
like, this is
There
the
you
best
go.
you guys could do
Oh.
working together.
James, more than when you walked out of Maximum Overdrive, because that also was like a wacky, funny kind of horror film. But to me,
You know
that's
what? I think time has been kind to both of them.
yeah.
And that now my expectations are set. So I can enjoy both. And the one thing about Creep Show I really enjoy more than anything else is Fritz Weaver, Hal Holbrook, and Adrienne Barbeau. because
Oh,
that
yeah.
whole dynamic.
That's
The
kinda
crate, the
fun.
crate is
yeah.
a good segment. Yeah.
There's
That
a lot
one's
of good
kinda fun.
performances. That's hard to act that stuff too. That's super
Yeah, because
hard.
it had to be too over the top
Goofy.
and not. Yeah, right.
Well, since the topic is fearsome food, and Ken brought up a great food item from a really good film. I think that was
Head cake.
Yeah, very nice. And I love vanilla frosting. So that's actually one of my favorites. So Ken, nice one.
I wanted to
Thank
eat that
you.
cake.
Thank
Okay.
you, Larry. No,
Okay.
thank you, Matt.
And hey, what do you say we talk about another one of my favorite food items?
Okay.
I hate it.
All right.
Not only do I love vanilla frosting, but I love a great shrimp cocktail. And
Me too.
and what I'm going to bring up, it's not very scary for Matt. I get it. And there's not maybe a lot of scares in this film, but it's supposed to have a very quirky kind of Tim Burton-esque feel to it. And I'm talking about
Black Beauty?
the 1988 Beetlejuice.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
I love Beetlejuice.
There's a sequence in the film. If you haven't seen it, so there's this couple who gets killed. They live in this house and they get killed, and their ghosts are in this house. A very quirky family comes and to move into the house. And so these two ghosts are trying to figure out what to do to kind of get them out of there. The stepmom who lives in this house, she has some funky friends. They come over to have this very fancy dinner. And the ghosts come up with this idea to really freak them out. And what happens is, well, it's directed by Tim Burton. It's got a great cast of Alec Baldwin, Sheena Davis, Jeffrey Jones, Catherine O'Hara, Winona Ryder, and Michael Keaton. And so what happens is when they sit down for the party with their daughter and the invited guests, suddenly they all begin to sing and dance to the Harry Belafonte song, that Day-O, Day-O, daylight come and I want to go home. And so they start doing
We've
these
seen the
funky
movie.
dances. Now it's weird because it's like, oh my gosh, we're all being controlled to do this funny little dance, and it's neat, it's cute, it's funky. At the end of the dance, they sit down and everyone has a shrimp cocktail in front of them, and right at the very end, the giant shrimps jump out and turn to this giant like shrimp hand and grabs everyone's faces and pushes them back. And look, when I was watching the film for the first time, I was like, oh, this is goofy. I did not expect the shrimp hand to pop out, and it kind of made me jump. Sure, it wasn't like a frightening thing like in Poltergeist, but it was a fearsome
More
food.
frightening.
Yeah, I'm just saying and the thing is I love a shrimp cocktail. I really love it.
Yeah, me too.
And so every time I have shrimp cocktail, I always think of two things. One is that scene from Beetlejuice, go, ooh, I try to make them into like a little hand. And the other thing is I pick one up and go, ooh, Ibera, from Godzilla versus the Sea Mouse, and I eat it. Anyway,
Ebera. Okay.
Anyway, fearsome food, Beetlejuice, the shrimp cocktail.
See,
There you go.
I want shrimp cocktail to do that to me. Like I want shrimp cocktail to grab my face and make me eat it because I love shrimp cocktail like you do, Larry. And I want an excuse to eat it. So if shrimp cocktail is making me eat it, then I'm off the hook, right?
They should make a glove.
And every Thanksgiving, my family, all my brothers and sisters, we kind of gather at my sister's house, and she always has like shrimp cocktail for people, and it's like I get so giddy and ooh, and hey, just recently I had a lovely dinner at Mr. Matt Weinhold's house, and we had a shrimp cocktail.
That's right.
And I don't know if you noticed. I don't know if you noticed that, but I was doing the same. When I was holding little shrimp.
You know what?
See,
when Larry comes
why.
over, it's always it's food. It's like having Chaplin over. It's like, he's making the shrimp do their thing, and it's delightful. Larry and I might disagree on a lot of things, but we come together on shrimp cocktail.
We do. Anyway, so there you go, shrimp.
The show The Good Place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which I guess is I would.
I would know of it.
Yeah. Which is a great show.
Yeah.
It's all about a woman who dies and wakes up in what she thinks is heaven and thinks, oh my God, I'm such a horrible person. How did I make it to heaven? Anything you want is there, although her house is decorated not quite like she would want it. So there are some things that seem a bit odd about this particular heaven for her. But one thing that she really loves is shrimp cocktail. And so she goes to this party, and there's a tower of shrimp cocktail because it's heaven, right?
Oh,
and
right.
and,
yes.
the shrimp, they must have gotten like mutated tiger shrimp because they're huge, huge. And I was like you, Larry. I was like, oh my god, I just want to climb into that thing and just set up house.
I love a good shrimp cocktail.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Sean, why don't you give us something? Follow up to shrimp cocktail.
Okay, well, this one's kind of a weird and disturbing moment with fearsome food, and that would be 1977's Eraserhead by David Lynch.
Oh,
This is
you're gonna make me vomit. You're gonna make me vomit.
Jack Nance is the lead character, and he's having dinner with his in-laws, and he's there with like his girl and her parents and grandparents or grandmother, I think, and they had these like really small, like kind of not very appetizing looking chickens, like
Little damn
like
things.
they're little chickens,
Right, yeah.
and they start. He just pokes it with a fork, and they start gushing blood. But like this is in black and white. It's in that grainy black and white, so it just looks like
And its
just
legs are
looks so
kinda going.
unappetizing, and the legs are wiggling, and it's just super awkward and weird. And then at the same time, the grandmother starts going into this weird kind of trance or something where she's starting to get turned on by something. It's so bizarre, and it really will turn you off eating chicken. I'm telling you, it's
Wow.
bizarre.
At least
and
Cornish game.
it's one of the most memorable moments in the movie, and there's a lot of memorable moments, and it's just so odd and disturbing. And just something about writhing, spewing little baby chickens in black and white that just does not sit well. It's really weird.
From the king of weird, David Lynch.
Yeah, I mean that was the movie that kind of put him on the map as far as cult movies, and but it's a great movie, but not for all tastes.
I had a feeling that you were going to bring that film up. I really did. That's
the father like goes, "We got chickens tonight."
I know it's such a twisted.
It's so weird. It's so weird.
It's not a film I like to watch over the holidays, though. It's like, hey, Thanksgiving, let's watch Eraserhead.
It's perfect Christmas viewing.
No,
that's a film that I've warmed up to over there.
Yeah.
Really. No, it's like when I first saw it, it was kind of a little too out there for me to enjoy it all the way through. But now I go back to it, and it's just so beautiful in a perverse way.
Yeah, and funny though too. It's
funny.
It's quite funny, a very, very dark way. But
it's weird, Sean. You find it funny, I guess Matt too. It's like there's nothing in it. I didn't find anything funny. It was just disturbing.
It's a comedy of awkwardness.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah,
it's about discomfort.
A comedy of awkwardness and nightmares. Yeah.
It's no creep show. It's no creep show. But
and it's nowhere near as scary as Poltergeist.
Oh no! All right,
movie ever made.
So following Freaky Chickens, what do you got, James?
I'm actually going to circle back to the shrimp because I've got from 2012 from Japan. I've got a splatter comedy called Dead Sushi.
I've heard of this.
What? I don't know this. What is this?
Well, it's about a young woman whose father is a sushi chef, and he wants to sort of hand down his craft to her, but the business isn't doing well, so she has to go work at a hotel, at an inn, a rukkan, I guess. And it's got a big sushi restaurant in it, and unbeknownst to her, there's also a pharmaceutical research lab nearby, and one of the scientists has a reanimation serum that he's working on. So before you know it, the sushi comes to life, and that's all you really need to know.
Wow.
And it is pissed. It is pissed. So you've got all these different types of sushi, and they're growing fangs. And there's all these set pieces, like they bite the tongue of a woman and try to bite it off. There's where you have models, like nude models that you eat the sushi off of.
Oh, right.
Well, there's a big set piece around that where the women are eaten alive by the sushi.
Oh, wow.
That sounds great.
Is it done kind of broad, kind of like Sam Raimi style?
It's extremely evil.
Okay.
And this is by a director named Noboru Iguchi. Back in our Asia Shock Cinema episode, I brought up a movie called Zombie Ass Toilet of the Dead. And this director was also responsible for that. And Machine Girl Robo Geisha, Karate Robo Zaborgar, very, very broad stuff. And the taglines for this movie are, of the sushi bites back and hot wasabi action. And it's all like CGI blood, and none of it is taken seriously, but it's never boring. I'll give it that. It is never boring.
Okay.
James,
So
where if we were interested, where can somebody see this?
Japan.
Oh, it's probably on some streaming platform.
Right. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But it's actually the title is misleading because it's actually not dead sushi. It's living sushi. So
Right.
Yeah.
Undead sushi.
That kind of reminds me of our trip to Japan when we were all, for your birthday. Remember, we all had the sushi. Now I'm having these nightmare images.
Yours was still moving.
That's right.
Oh, no, Matt's had a skewer and the fish was going, I've been skinned, right? Or was that, remember?
Yeah,
and,
I think I had that.
Sean
You had the one that was just killed, though.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, it was like moving.
As well.
Hey, I didn't demand it. James' friend insisted that I have it.
Yes, that's true.
That's right.
I was jealous.
Yeah, well, wow. Good one, James.
It's on Tubi and Amazon Prime, it looks like.
Well, there you go. I'm going to have to check that one out, James. All right, Matt. Do you have another fish one for us, or
I do, because yes, I do, and it relates to all of this. It relates to the sushi restaurant that we went to, Larry, in Japan, and those dishes.
Yes.
And the movie I'm referring to is, I think a lot of us love this movie, Old Boy from 2003.
Oh, I still have to see that. I know of that. I've not seen that.
Oh my God, so great.
It's good.
Based on a Japanese manga. It's about a guy who is imprisoned in this hotel room for 15 years. He doesn't know who did this to him or why. After 15 years, he's released, and now he's trying to go after the people who did this to him and figure out what's behind it all. And at one point, he finds himself in a sushi restaurant where he eats a live octopus. And it is a real octopus.
Are you kidding? It's a real?
I am not kidding.
It's grabbing his face and everything.
And it's
wow.
And now I love this movie. I don't normally like any movie where any kind of animal is hurt.
Sure.
So this genuinely disturbed me, and I wish they would have used a fake octopus. But
right. I've had like baby octopus soup before, but obviously it was already
murderer
dead.
Yeah.
You know.
How can you eat an octopus?
Well, like any kind of fish.
Dumb.
Like eating a steak. What's wrong with you?
From anything that's alive was once alive.
I've had in Osaka. Octopus balls are a very.
Oh, here we go.
It's a big.
Are you kidding me?
It's a rite of passage.
I'm not gonna eat that.
That's one of the most popular snacks in Japan.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Is it
Well, but Osaka is kind of like it's known for the octopus balls, and it's just like granulated octopus and deep fried, and there's something
batter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's like
batter and all
crab
that
cake, fried crab
exactly,
cake.
exactly. Yeah.
Takoyaki, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's delicious. And I did some reading on Old Boy, and apparently when they were shooting this scene, they went through 4 live octopi.
Oh my gosh.
So he had to do this 4 times.
Jeez.
And again, through the research that I did, it turns out that I guess in Korea, eating live octopus is not a big deal. But it was to me. It like completely grossed me out.
Well, does he swallow it? Does he?
Oh, yes.
He eats it.
He bites off the head.
He eats the whole thing. And it's still moving, and the tentacles are going across his nose and his
sticking
face.
on him, and
sticking on him.
Wow.
And but
kind of like in The Boys, but that was CG at least.
Well,
and it's terrible, but at the same time, it is a thing that is one more element that puts you off kilter in this movie, because there are so many weird elements to the plot, and just this guy being put in this room for 15 years is such a strange premise.
Right.
And then it just takes off from there. But I love this movie.
Yeah, you should definitely watch that, Sean. It's great.
Yeah, no, I know
think you would
I
like
just
it.
have to see it. Yeah.
I think you would like it a lot.
I don't know. I don't want to see poor little octopus.
Oh, there's more horrible stuff in it.
There's more horrible stuff.
I'm sure.
I don't think
That's
it's
the
for
tame
you.
part.
Yeah,
You
that is
see,
the taste bud.
I would rather deal with my poltergeist and my crawling steak. That's what I can, I can deal with that, and the maggots and the chicken. That's fine. But
I am with you. I wish they would have used some sort of practical
right
octopus.
I also read that the actor was disturbed because he's like a practicing Buddhist, so he didn't want to kill a live octopus, so he had to say a prayer before every one of them every take.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's dedication.
It's rough.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was a rough shoot.
So
Craft services suck.
Did they only have 4 octopuses, and then the fifth one's like, oh, dodge that bullet when the dragon goes, we got it. Let's move on. The little 5th octopus is going, oh, great. Oh,
Imagine.
Thank God it wasn't Kubrick.
I was just thinking the same thing. I was just going to say that.
30 octopi later.
Say that. Yeah, it's like 150 octopi.
The extinction of the octopus.
and then he uses the first take.
Right, exactly. Right.
Well, that is definitely a fearsome food, Matt.
Yep.
Definitely. All right. Well, hey, Ken, why don't you give us another fearsome food?
Well, not unlike the octopus in Old Boy. What the hell is the name of it? Vampire's Kiss with Nicolas Cage.
Oh.
Where he decided it would be a great idea for his character to eat a cockroach, a live cockroach.
Are you kidding me?
And he actually ate a live cockroach.
You are kidding me.
He actually ate 2 because the director wanted to punish him. So he made him do it twice.
No.
Clearly, he hates doing it in the scene. I saw an interview where he was talking about how I will never do that again. That's the dumbest thing I've ever done.
So, wait, but why does he do? Why does the character?
Just because he's weird. He's just a weird Dracula guy.
It's like a Renfield kind of thing.
Right.
Oh,
so he thinks he's crazy, and he thinks he's a vampire. So he's just doing all kinds of weird stuff. Right. The cockroach is just. It's hard. I can't imagine.
Yeah,
no, that is horrible.
They did that on Fear Factor and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
How could you do that ever?
I wonder, did they try to disinfect it first at least?
They might have washed it, but it's very much alive. It's all.
I mean, it's like Matt. We went to that restaurant where we ate. There are insects that were.
But those are cooked.
Crickets, and
when they're fried, they're crunchy and they just taste like chips.
But when they're alive and moving around.
John, did you like them?
Biting down on a
well, I have to admit they were. When I'm not thinking about what they were, they
they're fine.
The crickets were good.
The mealworms, the crickets.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. And so
it's like breadcrumbs. It's
right.
But what I loved about the fried crickets was that they still had some taste, like they were meaty. There wasn't just the seasoning.
Yeah, they weren't too bad. So. But a live one, I don't think I could do.
No,
a lobster is basically a big bug or a crab.
No,
or a shrimp. Shrimp are bugs too.
That's true.
Shrimps are bugs in the ocean.
See, no. See,
ocean bugs.
And just for the record, James, I don't believe that the producers went, oh yeah, here's this big actor Nicolas Cage. Let's just scrape up some cockroaches from the ground and give it to him. I'm sure this cockroach was like cleaned and it was probably a special.
It was cast.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they didn't. They just pick it up on the side of the road. I'm just letting you know.
It was a Wagyu cockroach.
You should watch it. Watch the scene on YouTube. It's horrible.
Okay. All right. Well, Ken, thank you. That is a
thank you, Ken.
Food. Thank you.
It was
okay. Well, okay. So look, Ken. Yeah. I'm going to get away from our real food and move into some clay food. Because this fearsome food was very fearsome to me because of the manner of how it was served. And yes, and I am talking about a very famous animated stop motion cartoon from Gumby and Pokey called Grub Grabber Gumby from 1968. And just to let you know, what they're trying to teach kids is not be greedy. It starts out, Gumby comes home, hey, Mom, you made cookies. And Mom says, yes, you can only have one. And there's a dozen there. And he has one, and he can't stop. and he eats 11 of them. He leaves one cookie. Oh, I ate too many. And he leaves. He sees Pokey outside. Hey, Gumby, how are you? And he goes, oh, what, you got a sandwich? He goes, yeah, would you like a bite? Oh, sure. And Gumby starts eating almost the entire sandwich. And Pokey gets pissed. And he gets angry and he goes, oh, thanks a lot. Hey, you better be careful. Something's going to happen to you one day. And Gumby's all, sure. Well, Gumby falls asleep and has this horrifying dream. And guys, this scarred me for life. It really did.
I love this episode.
Gumby is terrifying.
No,
In general.
Ken, it teaches you a valuable lesson. Of course, as an adult, I don't.
Shit out of you.
Well, as an adult, I haven't really followed it. But look, what happens is Gumby has this dream, and what happens is Pokey is now standing like a human, and he's got human hands and a chef's hat. He goes, ha, so you like snacks, do you? And Gumby says, oh, yeah, I like snacks. And he goes, great, have some ice cream. And all of a sudden, this conveyor belt lines up in front of Gumby, and Gumby is on this chair, and it's like he can't move. And this conveyor belt comes through and smacks an ice cream cone in his mouth, moves. Another one comes in, smacks in his mouth. Another one, and it goes faster and faster and faster. It's like force feeding Gumby, and Gumby gets this big stomach. And there's another food item, and finally, Gumby's sitting in the thing, so, and his tummy's all big and bulging, and all of a sudden, this big tray of hamburgers stacked, comes by, and Pokey goes, great. Now eat all these hamburgers, then comes dessert. and as a kid, and the hamburgers, they look like McDonald's wonderful little cheeseburger, but there's so many of them, and you have to eat all of them. They're going to force you to eat all of them. And then he wakes up and he goes, oh my God, he has this terrible night.
This is like the claymation version of Seven.
Yeah,
it's funny you should say that, but for listeners, if you were intrigued, you can find this on YouTube. Again, it's called Grub Grabber Gumby, and it's like Ken was saying. Ken, when I saw this, it freaked me out as a kid, but now as an adult, I've got to that point where, oh boy, one brownie, I can't stop, one Oreo cookie, and so I had watching it again. We can learn.
Is this the same episode where Gumby goes into the oven and he finds the sweet noodles?
No. That's a different episode.
I love
There's
that
so many crazy Gumby episodes.
Gumby is amazing.
It's great. But
Understand. These were all made by a guy named Art Clokey, very talented animator, very skilled. And what was great is he liked to teach, he's teaching kids lessons, basically.
Right.
And sometimes some of the lessons can be scary, but it's something that sticks with you,
Yeah.
And look, I didn't start putting on this weight until after I got married. So, but anyway, Fearsome Food, those hamburgers and those ice creams in that cartoon scare because there you go. Fearsome Food. So, Sean, why don't you give us another Fearsome Food?
All right. Well, you mentioned ice cream. I think we can't do a Fearsome Food episode without mentioning The Stuff from 1985.
Course, yeah.
You've talked about it many times, but as far as a Fearsome Food film goes, that's the one. I mean, this is Larry Cohen, 1985. It's basically a mysterious substance that just starts oozing from the ground, and people find it and find out that it tastes good. It tastes sweet, and they start marketing it as the newest tasty dessert, and it ends up being in stores everywhere, and it just starts taking people over, turning them into zombies and wanting them to just eat the stuff constantly. And the stuff is kind of like, sentient in a way. It's like alive. It's like the Blob,
right,
but it
Blob,
gets inside you, and it's just bizarre. And it's a great parody of consumerism and horror, and it's great. It's such a very quirky, bizarre Larry Cohen movie, but it's really
great
fun.
Effects.
Yeah, it's really good. It's basically like just white. Looks like
marshmallow fluff.
Looks like marshmallow fluff, but
I think it's like
Cool
vanilla
Whip.
Frost.
Thicker, like
frosting.
a thicker Cool Whip kind of.
And look, let's face it. If it was, I know I love sugary substances, so it's I would succumb to that stuff.
Absolutely, so would I.
And I go happily.
You know how easy
what the hell?
It's so easy to walk into like a Rouse and just buy a pint of like Ben and Jerry's ice cream. I'll go through that sitting easily.
I'm less sugary. I'm more savory.
I'm more savory as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
If it was beef jerky, forget it.
If the stuff made a chili
Yeah. Oh yeah, that'd be nice.
Right.
James,
Yeah.
are
And
you,
the stuff-
James, are you sugary or hearty or meaty?
No, my problem is I go back and forth. It's like I eat
Yeah,
salt, then
yeah.
I want sugar. I eat
You're
That's
on the
true.
seafood diet.
That's true.
and I eat it. Yep.
That was sort of based on there's the Garrett Morris's character, I think, is like Famous Amos.
Right. It's kind of like a
Yes,
famous
right,
Amos character.
right.
It's about it was about like the trends of foods,
Yes,
in the 70s.
yeah.
There was a lot of
Which is great. Yeah.
It's
Rock
good.
and
What's
cookies
interesting
and-
too is it comes from the ground, like it
Yeah.
bubbles out of the earth.
that's a terrible idea.
Well, like food of the gods kind of
Yeah.
kind of thing, But yeah, I
Why
know.
did anyone eat it? I don't remember.
Once
They were like,
again,
What does
you
this
know-
taste like? It came out of the ground.
right. Hey,
you know
Dipping
what?
any
There-
step in it.
it looks good.
when I was in high school, my friend and I, we did some bong hits and we were walking through the neighborhood and there was a slice of beef jerky on the ground.
Oh,
Are you
no.
kidding me?
And we ate
Holy
a
shit.
slice of beef jerky that
Are you-
we found on the ground.
Was it good?
But you can actually wash beef jerky.
That's true.
And it was
Wow.
delicious.
You can put it in the dishwasher probably and eat it.
So yeah, I would suck the stuff right from the source.
That's crazy.
Wow.
See,
True story.
That's what's great about this show. I mean, we're being honest about
That's
our
true.
feelings and our
That's right.
desires. And look,
And
I'm
our
not saying,
past.
Hey, I defeat that stuff. No, I would succumb to the stuff because
Right.
it's like, hey,
Yeah.
sugar. I would
Yeah,
eat
for
that.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
Should
Sean,
be the
that's
first kid dead in Willy Wonka.
no, and
Yes. Yes, for
No.
sure.
the first. I'm not gonna stick my hand in the chocolate river. Are you kidding? No, I wouldn't
Whatever it
do
is,
that.
you're gonna eat it.
Well, that is true. That is true. So, Sean, you have a container. You have an original container.
I do
right?
because Larry Cohen, before he passed away, he was at a Monster Palooza and he had a booth and he was selling a bunch of extra stuffed pints that were props from the movie.
Yeah,
That's great.
So I have it signed by him. Yeah, it's amazing.
See,
That's
I
cool.
look back. I wish I did that now because that's a cherished thing, Sean.
That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
I hope
You can get a
you-
fake one on Etsy.
No, I would. Well, I don't want to steal Sean's, but I'd rather admire Sean's. I'd like a real one. So anyway, Sean, great one though. Great one.
All right.
All right, James.
Okay, James.
You got a fish or
Yeah,
fowl
give us-
or fish?
No, this is yet another Stephen King pie story. And
Oh,
yeah.
this was a short story that was incorporated into The Body, which was filmed as Stand By Me by Rob Reiner. And the kids in the story are sitting around a campfire. And one of them, Jordy, Will Wheaton in the movie, tells the story of the revenge of Lardass Hogan, who is an obese kid in a small town. And he's constantly bullied, constantly put upon. And at the county fair, there's a big pie eating contest. So he enters, and the crowd is chanting his name, but it's mean. It's like Lardass, Lardass, Lardass. And he has a plot in mind. He's going to get his revenge. And what he does is he drinks a whole bottle of castor oil, and he has a raw egg before the contest.
No.
So he's scarfing down all these pies, and whether or not he's going to win the contest becomes irrelevant because toward the end of it, he opens up and lets the puke fly. And before you know it, the entire tent, everyone is puking. It's like the Mr. Creosote episode, right?
Puking on each other.
On each other, yeah. And the guys eating the pies, their puke is all blue because it's blueberry pie, and it's just gross. A little bit like Carrie in a way too.
Right.
The bullied kid is getting their revenge.
Right.
And this was actually a short story from the 70s in itself that was printed in Cavalier magazine, a men's magazine, that King
Oh, I know
ended up incorporating into The Body, and then that was filmed as a little story within the story.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it's got an interesting little history to it, but yeah, another Stephen King pie story.
Nice.
He loves his
Wow.
And
pie.
like you, I read Cavalier for the articles. So
Well, that's a lovely pie, fearsome food story, James. That's awesome.
Well,
All right, Matt, what do you got for us?
well, I kind of want to go back to Ken's cockroach thing because there is a movie that I really enjoy called Snowpiercer from
Oh!
2013. It's filmed by Bong Joon-ho, and it's based on this French graphic novel. And there's some environmental catastrophe that makes the whole world frozen. And the survivors are traveling on this train. And it's like the back of the train are the lower end of the stratosphere of society. And at the front of the train are the elites. And the elites can eat whatever they want. It's gourmet food and all kinds of wonderful treatment. People in back just live like slaves almost. And the only food that they get are these, what they call protein bars, that they look gelatinous. And what you find out is that they're made from ground cockroaches.
Oh,
And
wow.
so imagine this kind of weird jelly-like cockroach thing, and that's it. That's all you eat every day. And man,
I'd rather eat people.
I know, right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I would think that people would develop like creative ways to, hey, let's boil it or put it in a stew or chop it up.
A black market to things manage to get to the back of the train through that approach. But it really sticks out in my head in that film of just seeing these bars, and just that is your main source of nutrients. And it's,
Right.
it's cockroaches. It's like the ultimate extra fuck you.
Right.
Man.
Cockroaches. Gotta love them.
Delicious.
Well, nice one, Matt. Nice one.
Thank
All
you.
right, Ken, give us another fearsome food.
Let me see what I got here. Oh, I went to a play produced and directed by Stuart Gordon,
Oh.
and it was about the story in Germany where the guy took out an ad in the paper that he wanted to eat somebody.
Oh yeah.
So he got an answer, and the guy agreed to go over to his house and be eaten. So in the play, they start with his penis.
Oh,
And there's a whole build up to it. They finally sever his penis, and in the play, in the room, they actually cook, I guess, a sausage in a pan with onions and peppers and garlic.
Wow.
You're sitting in the play, smelling the meat.
The aroma.
No, it was
Great.
so effective and so gross. And
That's
I wish
brilliant.
the play had gone on to. He did a couple of test runs.
What was it called?
I can't remember.
I will eat your penis.
Yeah, I spit on your grave. I eat your penis.
Wow. Wow.
You know, well, there is an episode of the IT Crowd that parodies that scenario,
Oh,
yeah? I don't remember
yeah.
that one.
where Moss gets invited over to
Oh,
be eaten
yes.
by this German guy.
That's right. I forgot
And
about that.
the German guy is so polite and so
Yeah.
nice about it. And there's a misunderstanding, of course. He doesn't really realize
Right.
that's what the deal is.
I think there was
But,
also a Three's Company about that.
No,
There's a Hazel
no.
episode, I think, too.
No, no.
You know,
No.
the German eating someone that they found online, it's so hacky now.
It's like the evil twin. It's done in every story, done in every sitcom.
Oh, I'm sick of it. I can't get away from it.
Penis eating, big deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
That,
If I found that penis on the street when I was 16,
Yeah,
oh,
you would eat it.
well,
If
look,
cooked just right.
Yeah.
Villains, we're probably not actually going to end up seeing this thing, Ken. What ends up happening? How does it end?
I can't remember. It was kind of like the real story. The guy gets arrested.
Okay.
And I think the cops break down the door and
so only a penis is eaten?
yes,
not a
it
leg?
only gets to the penis.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Sorry. Well, what more do you need?
Yeah,
Well-
true.
Penises are very filling.
Yeah, well, Ken, it's funny that you should tell this story because now I have to pick.
Really?
I'm
pick-
afraid to hear what you're going to say now.
Well, because now I have to pick a different fearsome food. I don't want to,
I was going to be penis.
it's in the same vein.
It's a cockroach penis.
Vain.
No. Okay. Hey. Okay. Well, Ken, that is a fearsome. That is a repulsive.
It
fearsome
was
food.
a great play.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds amazing.
All right.
Yeah.
A few years ago, we were all captivated by one of the biggest, most spectacular TV programs on HBO Max, and I'm talking about the Game of Thrones. And there was a bunch of interesting, fearsome foods in that film or TV series, but one in particular really hit me. And that there's a sequence when the character Khaleesi, who is supposed to eventually, she's like the mistress of dragons, the mother of dragons. She marries this Dothraki warrior who's like a king, and she gets pregnant. And to make her baby strong, what they decide to do is, hey, let's cut out a horse's heart and give it to her because that's going to make her kid be really strong. And it's like, oh my God. And she is this beautiful, very petite woman, and they bring her this gigantic horse's heart. And it's like, no, you can't just take a bite out of this. You got to eat the whole freaking thing. And so there's this long drawn out scene where she takes this heart and she's a little bite and then kind of repulsive, but she knows what she has to do. And then you've got the whole tribe, they're cheering her on. Hey, come on, eat that heart in their Dothraki language. And what happens is she's eating it, blood just is like pumping, it goes all over her hands, her arms, her face, and she looks like a zombie. It's like terrifying. But and there's this moment where she collapses and you think, she's going to vomit. If she vomits, that's going to stop it. Then she's failed. But she holds it all in. She eats that whole heart and she stands up and she has this big speech. Now the heart's in here and I'm going to, give birth to this strong kid. But it's really grotesque to see her eat it. I got to hand it to,
Emilia Clarke,
who plays that role, because she did a great job. And it's, big horse's heart. But I don't believe it was a real heart. So
there should be a Game of Thrones restaurant where you where you eat a heart. They give you a bib with a heart on it.
I ate a horse's heart.
Well, there's another there's another sequence I was going to bring up about Ramsay Bolton and when he castrates a guy, but I decided I'll just do the heart thing because I don't want to anyway. But anyway, Game of Thrones. Fearsome food, a giant horse's heart.
All the drinks at that restaurant are served in Starbucks cups, by the way.
That's right.
I like this.
Sean, why don't you give us another fearsome food?
Okay, well, I'm going back to ice cream again because we all love ice cream,
we do.
Right? But do we like ice cream filled with body parts? Because if you do, then you have to see 1995's Ice Cream Man starring Clint Howard. He's a deranged ice cream man. We had him on the show. He was one of our most loveliest guests ever. He was great.
Yeah.
And he talked about making the movie. And basically he as a kid, he witnessed his local ice cream man killed by a drive-by shooting or something. And then he grows up and he's disturbed, but he takes over the ice cream business and he's basically serves the kids in the neighborhood ice cream. But talk about insects. There's cockroaches inside his truck, all kinds of weird stuff, blood eyeballs. And of course, eventually it's like David Naughton's head ends up on a waffle cone. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But it's, you see him like making the ice cream in his truck and giving to the unsuspecting kids. And it's ridiculous and disgusting, but it's great.
But Clint is great though.
He's great.
Yeah, well, he's one of those actors who's great in everything.
And he still has that prop.
He has the prop of David Naughton's head on the ice cream.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
it's in his office.
It's a movie that doesn't take itself too seriously.
No,
it's
can't.
tongue in cheek and
But it is really fun, and it's a great kind of a great high concept for a horror film. Really, ice cream man traveling around. Stalking people. Yeah.
Nice one, Sean.
So
there should be a movie called Tongue in Cheek where it's
really.
All right, James, why don't you give us one? Can you follow up the ice cream?
Oh boy. An NBC TV miniseries from 1983 called The Visitors.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Great one.
You've got these aliens coming down in flying saucers, and the human race isn't sure whether they're on the level or whether they've got ulterior motives. So there's all this time sort of spent in exposition. You're like, you meet the head alien woman, Diana, played by Jane Badler. And
Yes.
you're thinking, okay, well, we'll see how this plays out. And then she's alone for the first time, and you see her jaw open about 8 inches, and she swallows, I think it's a guinea pig. She swallows
Yes,
it
right.
whole.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? And I had it on beta or something. I had to pause it. It was like, look at that shot. Look at that effect.
It was great.
That is an image that will stick with me for the rest of my life. If nothing else from that show sticks with me, that image will stick with me because I did not see that coming.
James, that scene is stuck in my head too. And it's almost like the only thing I remember from that entire series.
I know.
I like
Very
this. The
popular
miniseries
with
is
horror
great.
fans.
The series is
Yeah.
fine.
The series gets pretty cheesy, but
it's a takeoff of To Serve Man.
But there are
Right.
there are actually 2 miniseries, and then they
But-
made a regular TV series out of it. Yeah,
But I like the design. That my favorite
Yes.
thing is the design of the visitors. I love the
Yes.
costume.
yes,
And
The
then
red
the
jumpsuits.
alien makeup is cool.
yeah.
But I love that scene.
that's a good
That
one.
scene was like,
Lizardy.
when I saw that happen, I was like, okay.
And I think
The
later
show
in the
has
series,
promise.
and I think later in the series you saw people eating like little mice too. Like did the same thing.
Yeah,
you know.
right.
But kudos to those effects guys, because that was I freeze framed that thing and it was like, wow, that was a pretty good effect.
Yeah, and this was early
Especially
80s.
for that
so
time.
Yeah.
TV, yeah.
CGI, yeah.
I would have loved to have seen a scene where one of the visitors was eating hamsters and like just had the tube of a habitrail in its mouth.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good
Okay.
one. That's a good one. Guinea pigs. All right, Matt. What do you got for us?
Well, if we're talking about fearsome food, how about a character who is food?
Oh,
And that would be the character of Tybo from the Lost in Space episode, The Great Vegetable Rebellion.
Oh no!
oh, infamous episode. Infamous episode.
Infamous. It's like, I think it's like the next to the last episode. It's
I
in the
thought it
third
was the
season.
last.
Yeah.
Based
But,
on a true story.
Based on a true
Really
story.
running out of ideas.
Based on the hit play.
Mm.
Yeah, the Jupiter 2's going through space, and there's this planet that Dr. Smith goes down to, and it's run by plants. And one of these plants is this giant carrot man named Tybo, who captures Dr. Smith and ends up getting the rest of the Robinsons, and hilarity ensues. Now, you gotta watch the episode carefully to catch it, but there's a scene where Dawn, played by Mark Goddard, who just passed away, there's a scene where Tybo is giving some speech and you could see him laugh. Like you could see him turn away because he can't. And according to the internet, this was a problem on the set,
Yes.
to the point where
really?
June Lockhart and Guy Williams were written out of some episodes because they could not stop laughing during this episode.
Ah.
That's
Having
true.
trouble getting through
This
it.
is so stupid.
Yeah, it's so stupid. But if you haven't seen this, you got to find
That's
at least a
hilarious.
picture of this character because
Oh yeah.
it's like, something out of H.R. Puffin stuff. It's
Right.
It's a big carrot
Flaming
costume
carrot.
with a man. Right, it's the flaming carrot
Yeah.
with this little man face sticking out. And yeah, I even have an action figure of it.
So do
Well,
I. I have the figure too.
Yeah.
And best of all, and it's played by Stanley Adams, also known as Cyrano Jones.
Cyrano
from
Jones,
Star Trek.
right.
Yeah,
Oh.
great character actor.
Yes.
Who would have known that this funky character would be made into an action figure?
Yeah,
I
really.
know,
Everything-
right?
It's
everything's
actually
an action figure.
it's not a cheap one. It's an elaborate one.
That
And-
that first run of like Lost in Space figures that came out way back in what, like early 2000s, 90s.
Yeah, yeah.
They're really good figures.
Yeah,
Yes.
they did the Cyclops, which is
Yeah,
beautiful.
beautiful,
Oh, wow.
beautiful.
Yeah. So this episode got the phrase "jump the carrot" into the vernacular.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but I love this. Lost in Space is ridiculous and silly. Now, this is a show that when it first came out, I didn't really like it that much because I thought it was, taking the piss out of science fiction.
Right.
Yeah.
And, I preferred it to be played straight. Now,
Yeah.
years later, I go back and it's how I look at the 60s Batman show where I get a kick out of it.
It's weird because I kind of looked at it as a kid. I thought it was just too silly, and now when I look at it as an adult, it's just so fucking silly. I cannot warm up to it still.
It's ridiculous.
I can't. I don't know.
I'll tell you what I like though, Sean. What I like is just all of the color.
Yeah,
like Star Trek, it's very beautiful.
And I think back to what was going on at the time and what was the most important thing. And when you look at Star Trek, you have angles, you have, it's serious,
right.
And what they would do on Lost in Space is there were times when they would let these scenes play out. You're in the
it was
same
for
kind
kids.
of area. It's for kids.
Yeah, much littler kids.
And look, there's an episode that I love. There's one episode where the Lost in Space robot, there's a bunch of little toy robots.
Right. Yeah. There are aesthetics in it that I really appeal.
It's like I'm like Matt. It's like I look at it with a different eye now.
Yeah.
But great one for a fearsome food, Matt.
And I appreciate Jonathan Harris.
Oh my God.
Jonathan Harris. And what people don't realize too with that show is that it's not really the same show from the first season to the last.
No.
The first season, it's played way more straight.
And black and white.
And black and white. And there are silly elements to it, but it didn't run every episode.
Right.
And Jonathan Harris as Dr. Smith was a different character who's way more sinister.
He was more a villain. Right.
Yeah. And so it just showed really the range of Jonathan Harris that he could play this. I thought was a genuinely scary character and then bring out all this comedy in the final two seasons. So
I did really come to appreciate the dynamic between Dr. Smith and the robot because the robot had his number. And some of the lines the robot would come out with, it's like, that's freaking brilliant. I love it. Even as a kid, I could appreciate that. So
right.
Weird that they would have a great chemistry between a robot and a.
I know, right? Yeah.
Right.
But as far as a fearsome food, the carrot guy, great one, Matt. That's a
good one.
Thank you very much.
Hey, this has been great, hasn't it?
It has.
It's been quite filling.
I'm nauseous.
Oh well,
maybe my belt.
Not with some of Ken's though. Ken's were I could do without, but yeah.
Oh, I have more.
Well, what do you think? What do you guys say we do a lightning round? Huh? Throw 2 or 3, kind of quick, huh?
Go for it.
Okay. All right. So Ken, why don't you lightning round? Why don't you give us like 2 or 3 really fast? Here we go.
There's a movie called Three Extremes. Three Asian directors.
I know this.
Dumplings.
Dumplings, which was also, it was a short, but they also made it into a full-length movie.
Yes.
And that show, Larry, I don't know if you saw it, is about a woman who makes dumplings that rejuvenate you and help you live forever.
Ooh.
And she's also a gynecologist / abortionist. So what she's putting in the dumplings are fetuses.
Right.
In the movie version, she actually puts her own fetus into a dumpling and eats it.
Wow.
And it's kind of gross.
Both the feature length version and the short version of Three Extremes, both are great.
Yeah.
And
really? Okay.
I'm so happy you brought that one up. That is one that never gets talked about.
It's
You're
because
happy,
it's horrifying.
You're happy about it.
I love it. Because it's Larry, it's horror.
It sets out to be horrifying, and it is.
Yeah. I hear
right.
you. I hear you. Okay.
Look,
okay, so that's one. Give us another one, Ken. We got dumplings. What else you got?
Killer tomatoes.
On my list.
Fine food.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to say the
giant tomatoes.
Yes. You have to say the Killer Tomatoes franchise though. There's 3 sequels too.
I only saw the first one.
Same here, but there were 3 sequels.
I wonder if they're any good.
Did anyone like that movie?
I like the song Puberty Love.
What's that?
At the time, it's kind of funny at the time.
The song Puberty Love that kills the tomatoes.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's kind of like it's done in that kind of like early Saturday Night Live kind of sketch kind of style. Like it's super loose but it's ridiculous. Yeah, but it has its moments.
I think it's a movie it's one of those films that's trying to be a midnight movie. It's
kind of
trying.
But I think it was before midnight movies.
Really
but it was 78, so it wasn't quite.
What I'm saying is I think the creativity stopped at the title.
It's like Sharknado.
It's better than Sharknado, but
What I'm saying, it's
That's
meant
true.
to be bad. It's made
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah, yes, of course.
I would say
but when you're
makes-
doing that, that's a tough one.
I
to
agree.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree.
The,
It's very
it makes
tough.
for a great trailer.
Yeah.
Watching
I
the
think they
trailer, you
managed
get
it-
everything in the trailer. It's like
Yeah,
you're done.
They did that kind of thing okay with the Piranha, the 3D remake, the recent one.
Okay.
They tried to make a bad movie, and it's kind of funny, and
I
Right,
did
right.
enjoy that though.
yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
All
I think
right.
we went to see that
Okay.
together with somebody who had to leave the theater. They were so scared.
She cried.
Of Piranha
Yeah.
3D?
Yeah,
She
Wow.
cried.
the woman gets her top of her head ripped off by the boat propeller. She was done. She's like, I can't.
Wow. Okay.
It was really
And you can eat
wrong
piranhas.
movie for her to go to. It was and
Yeah.
why
No,
how
not-
we got her to go to
Not
this,
meant to. Yeah.
anyone's guess. But
That's funny. All
All
right.
right, so that's great, Ken. You got one more for us, or is
The
that
yeah.
dumplings, tomatoes? What else you got?
Harry and Helen, Karen's parents in Night of the Living Dead.
oh, yeah.
It's very sad.
Oh.
They get
Yeah.
spaded to death.
That's
She goes
true.
down. She goes down to check on Dad, and Karen has already eaten him.
Oh.
And then
Happy
she stabs- she
Thanksgiving.
stabs Mom with a spade.
Well, you see, yeah, I think that's interesting, Ken, because I actually think the sequence with Tom and Judy is stronger. Here's this couple that you love so much, and they get in this truck to go out to get gas, and then they're trying to do it fast, and gas goes all over the truck. They start to go away, and the truck's on fire, and the guy gets out, but she's caught, so he goes back in, and the whole thing explodes.
Yeah.
And so they've both been killed, this couple that you love, and slowly but surely, I remember seeing this as a kid, and it freaked me out because I remember thinking, they're not going to show anything, and you see the zombies go and pull out parts, and you have zombies fighting over the
Cooked
innards
to
of the-
perfection.
Yeah, the intestines.
Well, of course, yeah.
Talk about, fearsome food.
I would think that after that, they get their first cooked flesh.
Yes.
You would
yeah.
think that at this point, they all would have looked at each other and went, why haven't we been doing this in the past?
It's like cavemen discovering
Where's-
fire.
Yeah. Where's Farmer Vincent?
Yeah. Hey, I just discovered this thing called salt. Oh my God.
Right.
All right, Ken. Those are good. Those are three really good ones. Okay, really quickly for me. This always kind of bugged me. Talk about space pretzel sticks and frog stew. Okay, from 1980, the classic Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. Luke goes down to Dagobah to find this mysterious Yoda. When he gets there, he has this case. It's a case, and it has like little bits of it. You're trying to. It looks like it has like M&Ms in it, or like little Chex Mix or something. But there's also Yoda picks out this what looks like a pretzel stick, and he has the famous line, "How you get so big eating food of this kind?" And so it's like, so I always thought, oh, that's the space pretzel stick. So what does Yoda do? Invites Luke to his little house. He goes to his little house, and think about it, people. Think about it really hard. So Yoda's got stew, some kind of stew cooking. What is in that stew? He lives in a freaking swamp. It's probably filled with little lizards, frogs, and all kinds of crap.
It
And
looked great.
Luke does this thing where he takes two little scoops.
Right.
He picks up a thing, he smells it, tastes it, and then he goes, I guess it's like, well, I guess it's not as bad as shit, so okay. And then he takes a couple more scoops.
Right.
But it's like, I always thought, oh, so I always considered like frog stew and pretzel sticks. Okay, so there's one.
I like that.
It's probably better than the blue milk he squeezed out of the teat.
Yeah, well, that's a different story. From
Yeah.
1983, I'd mentioned I'd worked at this movie theater. One of the films that we had there, and when we screened it, it was packed when it was first came out. 1983 James Bond film Octopussy, and there's a very this is with Roger Moore and the villainous Kamal Khan, played by Louis Jourdan. He's a very charismatic guy, but there's a sequence when he has Bond, and of course, like in every famous Bond film, brings him down to dinner. We're going to have dinner. And so they start with the souffle, and this is when Bond and Kamal Khan have this back and forth about, oh, I'll find out what you're up to. And then finally the main course comes. And these waiters bring out the main course, and there's this big cover. They lift up the cover, and what is it? Roast lamb's head, and there's a lamb head on a bed of rice. And I remember hearing the sound of the entire audience going like this, ooh. But then Comic-Con pulls out an eyeball and eats it. And then you hear everyone go, oh! it was a double whammy. And it's like, you knew that the producer was going, oh, we got to test this. We got to time it out so perfectly. And, you look at now, maybe it's kind of tame, but back then in 83, it was really powerful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My last one, this has a special place in my heart for fiendish foods. Back in 1961, there was a classic Harryhausen film, Mysterious Island, where there are where these northern prisoners, they take this hot air balloon, it goes to this mysterious island, they land, and there are these creatures that are all kind of big, and they encounter this giant crab. Just as much as I love shrimp, I love crab. And a friend, when I worked at the special effects studio, one of the guys had a print of it. And we watched the 16 millimeter print of Mysterious Island. Why? I went to San Francisco Wharf and picked up a bunch of crab. And we boiled it and we all ate crab while we were watching the film.
Nice.
And it was loads of fun. I'd always wanted to do it. So there's, again, I love shellfish. What can I say?
Bugs from the ocean.
It would have been great to see them use two trees, like the thing that cracks
Right.
So there's three for you. Sean, why don't you give us three more?
All right, here's a couple quick ones. I think basically pretty much all versions of this story, but I would say the 2007 version by Tim Burton of Sweeney Todd.
Right, sure, yeah.
Helen Bonham Carter is a baker, Miss Lovett, and she takes all of Sweeney's victims and uses their bodies to make her famous meat pies, which sell very well, right?
Yep.
One of the things I remember in Sweeney Todd was before they start making the pies out of human beings.
That's right.
They make these horrible meat pies that who knows how long they've been sitting out.
Yes.
And
the worst pies in London.
Yeah, and she offers one to the kid, and the kid's like kind of picking at it, but like the ones that were made out of people looked way more delicious, and
That's
obviously
true.
were.
Yeah,
Well, 'cause they
there's
had good
bugs
fresh
and
meat.
insects and the other
Good fresh
ones
meat,
too.
right? Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's true. And also another sweet dessert fearful food, I would say, would be from Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh yeah,
Because the alien clowns encase their victims in these giant cotton candy cocoons,
right.
but while the bodies are in there, they kind of start liquefying the bodies, and then they stick like crazy straws in there and start just drinking the essence of these other victims from the cotton candy cocoons. Right?
Really
That's
fun and
classic.
clever.
Yeah, I like that. And I want to also mention then the from A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, Dream Master. A great fun scene where Alice, played by Elisa Wilcox, she's in the dream world and she's in a diner, and Freddy Krueger comes up to her and she's served a pizza, and it's a pizza with the souls of like victims on the meatballs. The meatballs have little faces like, don't get me. And one of his finger blades and sticks it into the head of the meatball. It's classic. It's classic. He says, if the server doesn't kill you, the food will.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. So those are my three.
Oh, Sean,
Nice.
I love a good meat pizza.
Yes.
I love a head ball.
James, give us three more, please.
Okay, in Bret Easton Ellis's 1991 novel American Psycho, I don't think this made it into the film adaptation, but you have a Wall Street yuppie who leads a double life. He's a wealthy playboy by day, and then by night he's a serial killer. And part of the artifice that's described in detail in the novel, it's first person, is the way that he carries on his day life. And it's very, very, there's a lot of attention to detail and pretense, so much pretense. And he goes on a date, or rather he invites a date home to his place to serve her dinner. And for dessert, he concocts this elaborate, it's not so elaborate, but he's very careful and meticulous. And he gets a used, very, very old used urinal cake out of a men's room. And he covers it in chocolate. And he goes into detail about the care he takes into covering it in chocolate. And he serves it to his date. And she's completely unsuspecting. She thinks it's some sort of gourmet item. And she begins to eat it. And she's, of course, it tastes horrible, but she's not going to say that because she lives in this world where you don't say that, right? And yet this sadist does that. And it's one of those details from the novel that I'll never forget.
Horrible.
And
That's great.
staying with the toilet angle. Peter Jackson's Meet the Feebles from 1989 is basically demented Muppets, and there is a fly puppet, right? And he's this kind of supporting puppet character. And one character opens up a toilet and sees the fly character in the toilet eating shit with a spoon. And it's like, well, it is a fly, right? I mean, it's a jarring image, but that's what flies do, right? So,
Yes, I love that movie.
It's pretty amazing.
Awesome.
The high class fly.
And there's a notorious South Park episode from the 5th season called Scott Tenorman Must Die, where Eric Cartman gets goofed by an older kid. He gets pranked and humiliated. And if you know Cartman, he doesn't take it lying down, but he takes it to the extreme, and he orchestrates the death of the kid's parents, has them chopped up, cooked into a chili.
I remember this.
And he has the chili fed to the kid at a chili cook-off.
No.
Wow.
I remember that. It was like the darkest episode.
Yeah.
It ends with like Cartman winning. Like he did the ultimate prank by killing. I remember that.
Yeah.
No lines
my
uncrossed.
Gosh.
And Stan and Kyle are like, I say we never be mean to Cartman again after this.
Right.
Wow.
That's great.
One thing you have to say about chili is that it fixes everything. Like you can throw almost anything into a chili and get it to work.
It's true.
I mean, the Donner Party, or what was that? The Andes movie, or the true story of
Alive.
Survive.
Right.
Or Alive. That I forget the title of it.
Yeah.
So they have to eventually eat human flesh. If they could have just got a fire going and, had some beans.
Yeah.
Although I know that that's not your traditional.
No, but
Like
it's
a real
chili
traditional chili is con carne, right?
It's no big deal when a zombie does it, but if people want to do it, all of a sudden it's gross.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of meat going to waste.
Yeah, chili is Columbo's favorite meal, so can't go wrong there.
That's right.
That's
Always loves the chili, no matter where he is.
Chili
So
and
that'd be a
cigars,
nice
delicious.
mashup.
Yeah.
Sort of Texas Chainsaw, Columbo, where he
Right.
suddenly loses it and he's
That's some chili.
or he's investigating the Chainsaw family.
Yeah, that's what it
And
is.
he gets pulled in by the chili
Yep.
and never leaves.
Wow. There you go.
And then finally, just to bring it home, because I can't not mention it, Pink Flamingos by John Waters.
Oh, yes.
At the very end of the
Great.
movie, Divine,
This
in real
is-
time, you're watching a dog take a dump, and Divine goes over, and it's a soft dump too. It's not chewy. It's not beef jerky. It's soft. And Divine goes over there, picks it up, and eats it. And this is a famous
World
scene
famous.
of cult movie history. And it's
Listeners,
freaking
I'm so
disgusting.
sorry.
Take that, Nicolas Cage.
I'm so sorry.
Where you got the idea, brother?
I'll see your cockroach and I'll raise you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, really.
Once again, thank God it wasn't Kubrick.
And then who ate Nicolas Cage's shit?
Oh God. Okay,
Cockroach.
that's great, James. Thanks, Matt. Now, do you have something a little more appetizing?
Make it worse.
Well, I don't know about appetizing, but this is one that I think you'll like, Larry. And it's from Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
That's on my list too.
Oh.
Who doesn't like a nice rat? Right? Betty Davis serves Joan Crawford a nice rat. She's Jane and she is nuts. And so to continually fuck with her invalid sister Blanche, at one point she just serves her a rat in this nice covered dish. So she doesn't really know what she's getting. And then she, opens the lid and there's this rat and she freaks out and it's horrifying.
The line she says before she opens, remember?
Give it to me.
She goes, Blanche, we got rats in the cellar.
That's right.
So it's like Blanche is sitting there with this thing in front of her, not knowing. And so Joan Crawford has this moment where, no, she doesn't want to open the way. No, my sister wouldn't do that. It can't be.
Right.
There's this, you can see the process in her head, going.
Yes, see it in her eyes.
Matt, that's a great one. That's a great one.
I wasn't in this chair.
But you are, Blanche. You are in this chair. You got another one for us?
Yeah, sure. We have to mention Matango.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Classic.
Otherwise known as Attack of the Mushroom People.
Yes.
And it's about a bunch of people shipwrecked on this island, and all there is to eat are these mushrooms that if you eat them, they will turn you into a mushroom person. And one of the things I always wonder about is, what did they taste like? They must have been so good.
Yeah.
It's like they're more than just mushrooms. They're like almost like these alien spores that must be alive in their own way.
Yeah, like supernaturally savory.
Right. So they just become part of. There's no way. No matter
the name
what
of the episode.
No matter what you think of a mushroom, when you eat this one, it's everything that you want it to be.
Yeah.
This is not to be confused with the Bertolucci remake, which was Last Matango in Paris.
There he is.
Man.
God bless him. It wouldn't be the holidays without
Oh, Grandpa.
a nice
Grandpa Gonis.
And if I could just talk a little bit about space food. I have one example, which is 2001 Space Odyssey. Every time you saw a meal in that movie, it was always like in a liquid form, or when they're on the Discovery, everything is sort of like a hard kind of, what would you call that? Like almost like baby food. But in a harder presentation.
Yes.
And
Puree,
I guess so. Yeah. So it doesn't fly off into weightlessness. But when I think of space food in general, it reminds me of every movie that you saw throughout the 50s and 60s.
Yes.
Now, where dinner time would come on the spaceship, and someone
Astronaut.
Someone would be expecting a nice meal, and they'd open up the lid of their plate, and it'd be 3 pills.
Here's your roast
that
beef.
one back to Tex Avery cartoons.
Right, yeah. And you eat the pill.
Pie.
This is pot roast.
Yeah.
It's like an
You're right though. Like every budget 50 sci-fi movie, you had that moment.
And it's killed me because it was used so many times. Like
food pills.
Ice cream sundae.
The future.
That's what the future is going to be. I'm just happy that with all the problems that are happening in the world, that we don't live in that one. We can still have a nice ice cream sundae, and it's not in a little pill. And we can, I will take the cockroach protein bar over that any day.
Yeah, sure.
And if I can just add one more title. And this one relates to James's Meet the Feebles pick. But it differs in, let's just say the delivery system. All right. Okay. And I think it's the perfect capper for this episode because, like Thanksgiving, it's not just about a meal, it's about bringing people together. And the film I'm talking about is The Human Centipede.
You're kidding!
Literally bringing people together.
You are right. We have to do it. There's two films that I could bring up, and I couldn't figure out how to put in Lepus, so it has to. But this works perfectly, right? Because
it's true.
Nobody sets a table like Mad Surgeon Joseph Hyder.
Right.
Played by Dieter Laser, which is one of the greatest names for an actor, I think, ever. Right?
Yep. That's true. But you're right. That's appropriate.
Yeah. Yep. And when you got 3 people sewn together ass to mouth, that's a meal that keeps on giving. Right? See?
It is some fearsome food.
It is some fearsome food. So that's what I'm going to go out on. And happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yay. Poo-poo.
Wow. Well,
That's
well,
it.
guys,
That's good.
this has
Yeah.
been delicious.
It has been.
Yes.
Poltergeist is a great movie.
It is. No, Ken, it is.
You're allowed to like what you like.
And
And
I think,
I know I'm the dissenting voice here, so that's okay.
You're
but
allowed
it's-
to be that as well.
I can
We
be
have-
that as well, right?
we
It's
have-
the holidays. Let's just
it
all get
is-
along.
it
I'm
is-
I'm the asshole uncle.
it's so true. But this has been just delicious. I mean, we've all brought up some wonderful, delicious, and repulsive, fearsome foods.
Yes,
And
it's true.
this has been just great. Ken, I want to thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Always glad to be here.
you just terrific, guys. Is there anything you're working on or something that you can let our listeners know about?
No, I imagine Dr. Z will be coming out once the strike is over.
Ah, yes.
All right.
Ooh.
Yeah. And you're
Still on
writing,
hold
and
for now.
are you on that as well?
I don't think I'm on it. I can't remember. No, I don't think I am.
What is
I
wrong
but I
with
did work on
you?
it. I don't remember it. Well, we did a long time ago before the strike,
Right.
Yeah.
It was a blur.
a year ago.
Well,
Well-
and Nerd Poker is always.
Nice. Cool.
That's
We're
right.
starting
So-
a new campaign. We won a campaign, and now we're starting a new one
That's beautiful.
Wow.
Awesome.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Ken, where can people check this out?
online. Nerd Poker Pod, I think, is the website. But it's on all the podcasting apps.
Cool.
Fantastic.
Very nice. Well, we love you. We love what you do.
We do. What do
Absolutely.
you guys say? We raise our glasses and toast to
Raise
the
our glass of
amazing-
blue
yes.
milk.
Yeah, blue milk to Mr. Chicken McNugget, the wonderful Ken Daly, and
Our own chicken McNugget.
That's right.
our friend
Cheers
of
to you
Fearsome
all.
Food. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy holidays.
time for a listener shout out.
Shout
Shout
out.
out. Tasty shout out.
Oh, I want to eat this shout out up.
This comes from longtime listener ZP International is his handle. He hails from
Ooh.
Kentucky.
All right.
We appreciate his longtime listening, and he
Oh, yes.
he posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, regarding our elevator episode,
Oh,
Mm.
and he writes, "I enjoyed the elevator episode. Definitely an uphill trip.
Ah.
It needed some music to help the ride.
oh,
Okay.
Like to add in the elevator fall from Irwin Allen's Earthquake, where
Oh.
Lorne Green makes a joke of someone's death, and the two elevator scenes from the Towering Inferno.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
true.
Nice. Okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
we only had so much time, okay?
And disaster movies are kind of
Yeah,
adjacent,
that's-
I mean,
but
yeah,
that's okay.
I like
That's
that.
good.
That's good ones.
I remember when I was a kid, I didn't see Earthquake in the theater, and my cousin told me about that elevator scene. And then when I finally saw it on TV, I was like, that's it? It just had some blotches of blood from the outside of the elevator. It's like, oh, that doesn't show anything.
Yeah, it was like a cartoon effect or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, it was very strange. Yeah.
Yeah, so much for the Albert Whitlock effects.
Right.
So thank you, ZP International. We appreciate the feedback.
Yes.
Yes, very much so.
We do.
In fact, I think I'm falling for you.
Ah.
And if you want to get in on the ground floor of some cool Monster Party merch, nowhere better to find it than our eBay store, which on eBay is called Monster Party Store. You can't miss it. You can find Monster Party t-shirts, shot glasses, PPE masks, the legendary Monster Party cap. And if you happen to be a Patreon member and order merch from our eBay store, we will throw in free surprise goodies, courtesy of Jason Lindsay and Biff Bang Pow Toys and creature creator extraordinaire Ted Haynes.
Holidays are just around the corner, guys.
Yeah,
That's right.
and those guys are two tasty dishes in their own right.
So what is this Patreon I keep hearing about, Matt? I feel like I hear about it every 2 weeks, and then suddenly
Yes.
it's like a wisp of the stuff. It just disappears.
Okay, as we know, Soylent Green utilizes the tastiest parts of the human body and distills them into one delicious and nutritious snack cracker. Well, Patreon is a lot like that.
Mm.
It's a platform that
Really?
provides you with the tastiest bonus content Monster Party has to offer and delivers them in one exclusive social media cracker.
Wow.
Wow.
And by bonus content, we're talking about the Monster Party shows like Monster Party Masterpieces and all the various toy times that we do, bonus audio episodes, the story collections that my stepfather-in-law, John Bordeaux, puts together, featuring classic science fiction and horror. We've got our Japan trip where we pretty much chronicle every step that we took in that fabulous land. And yeah, and this stuff stays up there. We don't take it down. So if you join right now, you're just going to have, right off the bat, you're going to have so much stuff to go through.
The holidays,
Yeah, it's a perfect time to join. And you could even make joining a present for somebody else even.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Wow.
True.
Well, that sounds like a true bounty, but I gotta say, I'm investing all my money into how to disinfect pureed cockroaches right now. So I don't think this is something I can
Soap and
afford,
water. Soap and water.
Well, it sounds a little rich for my taste.
All right. Well, you know what? You shouldn't worry about things like this, especially around the holidays, because if you were to buy your standard banquet turkey TV dinner, that can't be more than what, $5, right? Including tax. Well, pass on that meal and get a meal of entertainment. $5 a month is all it takes to become a Monster Party patron.
What?
That's amazing. That's incredible. You can't buy a single succulent baby octopus to stuff in your face for that price.
I think you're right.
No, you can buy 4.
Well, okay, I'm sold. Where can I sign up for this Patreon?
All you got to do is you go to patreon.com, you go to Monster Party, you click join, you follow the instructions, and next thing you know, you're going to be eating like it was penis day on Friday.
And speaking of Penis Day on Friday, you can find us on social media. We're on social media,
I'm
guys.
so sorry.
I
apologize.
We are on Facebook at Monster Party TV. YouTube is Monster Party TV. We're on Twitter, otherwise known as X, at Monster Party HQ. Instagram is also Monster Party HQ. And hey, listen, if you have any thoughts on the show, send us a review, send us your thoughts, your ideas, your reflections, your reactions. And I would love to hear from you, and we will read them on the air.
We won't just read it on the air. We'll turn it into a delicious recipe that may or may not include penis.
I'm so sorry.
Happy holidays, everybody.
On that note, I am Matt Weinhold.
I'm Shawn Sheridan.
I'm Larry Stroth.
And I'm James Gonis.
Keep America strong.
And may your Thanksgiving be free from fearsome food.
I wish we could go back in time and have Thanksgiving dinner with Divine.
Yeah, I hear she made great sweet potatoes.
Oh, gosh.
Eat her sweet potatoes.
I'm doing great, Ken. Great to see you.
Good to see you.
Always great to see you.
I'm not so happy to see you,
James.
Ken. I'm a
Yeah,
little upset.
I don't really like you much, Matt.
You know,
What are you eating?
Nuggets. McNuggets?
Nice.
No,
Are you
No.
eating McNuggets?
no, I'm
KFC.
eating.
Come on.
I'm eating lox and cream cheese.
That's
Oh,
great.
cool.
L'chaim.
I wasn't actually talking to you. I was actually talking to our guest, our
Who's the
wonderful.
guest?
You're our guest.
Oh, hi.
You're, Mr.
I'm the guest.
Mr. Chicken McNuggets, Shamrock
I'm
Shake.
Mr. Chicken McNuggets.
No.
I didn't know I was the guest.
I'm
Ken.
Mr. Chicken McNuggets. I'm Mr. Shamrock Shake.
It's funny, Ken. You should say that because whenever I see you, you got that little glint in your eye, and
He does, yeah.
I'm a real imp.
Yeah, it's like
You're a cherubic little imp.
no, you make me happy, and it's like as we're talking, I every once in a while I think, would it be cute if he just went, "Oh, Larry, here's a little shamrock shake for you," and with a shake. I mean, you introduce these to the world.
Yeah.
Hey, Larry, for you, everyone kind of fits in a tight little category, and they can never venture out of it. They're always stuck in that thing. He will always
don't blow it. I'm in a good category right now.
Mr. Shamrock Shake.
Hey,
It's
You'll
wonderful.
always be
I
there.
love it.
Hey,
I
listen.
love it. But
Hey,
you're
listen,
more
you.
than that.
No,
You're more
no.
than that,
Sir.
man.
How would you like to look, if you were known for one thing, wouldn't you rather be Mr. Shamrock Shake or
Yeah.
Mr.
I'd like to
Chicken
be known for
McNuggets?
bringing a smile to Larry's face.
And no, Ken, that's where you're wrong. It's not just my face; it's the face of millions
Lord.
and millions of
Aw.
people. That's
He's
what I
already
see.
agreed to be on the show. Larry. Come
Oh.
on.
Larry.
Look, it's my
Larry.
Halloween costume.
Oh, cool.
I love that.
Great.
That was great. That's so
You
great.
That's
were
awesome.
you were a little go
Little
Grogu.
Grogu?
Go Gru.
Yeah.
Go Gru. Yeah.
Glow Goo.
Grogu.
Grogu. Larry.
Galaxy Glue.
Why do you hate Star
Go-Go.
Wars?
Did you
Galaxy glue.
Did you have a-
Galaxy glue?
Did you have
What
a
can we
frog?
do without
Did
Galaxy
you have a
Galaxy
frog in your
glue.
mouth? Did you have a frog in your mouth? Did
I
you-
didn't. I should have. You're right.
Oh, that's actually a good
Think
idea.
of that.
Hey,
Like a
Larry.
gummy one.
Larry, are you recording from a bomb shelter?
How did you know?
Are you
It
in the
looks like
garage?
that.
The
How
cinder
did you know?
blocks.
You know what?
No.
He's
Alley.
probably he's pretty
No.
wise actually for doing that.
No.
Yeah,
No,
true.
just to let everyone know, just to let everyone know, we are in the process of we are moving to a different location, which
Yeah,
has
right.
Oh, right,
beautiful
right.
sound
The
stages.
Rocket
and so,
Studios.
yes, and so a bunch
cool.
of the stuff that I had, my calendars, the phone call, everything. It's just so it does look like I'm in a bomb shelter.
So you're in
Why
the
not?
new
You're
place
the
now?
basement in
No.
Dawn of the Dead.
No. We're still in the old place. We're in the
Oh, okay.
process of like packing things up and stuff.
Great,
So-
great. For once, you guys were in a location close to me, and now, of course, you've moved. So great. Back
Hey,
to the
man.
valley again. Fucking
Yep, that's right.
1 hour freeway drive.
Yeah,
Sean,
they're moving to Magic Mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean,
Great.
Sean, don't you think we're trying to give you a little hint? You know,
Nope.
look,
Nope.
is your
Nobody wants to live near you.
Not living in the valley. Forget it.
that valley. That's just terrible.
Okay, yeah.
It's
All
a
that-
wretched,
Why are
it's a
you
wretched
yelling
hive
at
of
us?
scum and villainy.
Nice weather.
Why are you yelling at everyone? Oh, we love the Shamrock Shake. We're happy that you're moving. What do you want?
Okay, here's why. Just now, before James gets here,
He's
Just-
here.
What are you talking
I'm
about? He's
here.
been here for
Oh, is
10
he?
minutes.
Hey, Larry. How's it going?
Open your view.
I didn't see him.
Talk about pegging somebody in a category. James is not.
Oh,
Man, holy James, we're here.
Yeah.
Oh,
James,
James.
You
I
make
miss
it
James.
team up,
I really
man. We
miss
can
James.
take him out.
James, please accept my apology. I
No,
on my
it's fine, man.
view, I only saw Sean, Matt, and
it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
The
and-
guy,
and-
the guy who's now living like Bad Ronald inside the wall of Rocket Studios.
Yeah, really.
No, I look, Sean. I'm a little uptight because just a quick little
You're
story.
uptight. A little uptight.
Just
Oh my
And it
God,
leads
Larry's
to a
uptight,
story.
everybody.
okay.
Okay.
Just a twist.
It's a quick story. It's a quick story.
They're
and I know
never quick, but go ahead.
Sean's gonna love it. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, do you guys remember I showed you a famous Monsters magazine issue that I had that I got back in the 70s, and one of my older brothers drew nasty things.
Yeah, right.
Let me
Yeah.
guess where this is going.
Okay.
Like every other Larry story. Remember that
Found it and
dream
it's
that
still
I
in its
had?
Remember when I was? Remember when I was?
Go ahead, finish it.
I was
Okay, okay.
disrespected. And,
Well, Sean, how would you see? You just had a younger sister. You didn't have two older brothers who did crap like this.
Right,
Okay,
right.
so let's say you go to the local dime store. You're about 10
What's a
years
dime
old.
store?
Okay. And you
We don't
get,
even have
like
dollar
a
stores
plastic.
anymore.
Hey,
You're getting
Yeah,
egg
really.
cream. At
Ken,
the-
Ken, we're just making it longer. Make
Nice
it longer.
phosphate.
Let me
Okay.
get to this story.
We're
Okay.
all night,
Interesting.
baby.
So
Go ahead.
I go to Ben Franklin. I pick up something I always wanted, which was a plastic skull. A little
Right.
plastic skull. So this little plastic skull is from the 70s. All right.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Everyone
that's
see?
great.
Ooh.
Again, great radio. No one
Yeah.
can see it.
Well, I'll post some pictures.
but if-
pictures. But
If you could see it, it's a plastic skull. Go
Yes.
ahead.
Pretty
then-
much.
and then, unbeknownst to me, my older brother, and I know which one did it,
Oh my god.
decided to draw something. Can you guys see this?
Oh my god, it's a
Oh,
penis.
nice.
A face in the back of the head.
Oh, it's a happy face
Yeah.
on the back
Yeah.
of the skull.
So you
It's a-
still
it's a-
have
It's a-
that.
I will say it's a very 70s drawing.
Right, it is.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
yeah.
What kind of fiend would do such a thing?
Your older brother.
Exactly.
What is it drawn with? Do you know?
It's a black pen. A black
Your
And
laundry
have you
marker
ever
before
tried
we
to
had
get it off?
Sharpies.
I'm just curious. Have you ever tried to get it off?
Yes.
Or like
yeah, I have.
paint
It's
over
like
it.
You can easily paint that
Paint?
skull.
paint.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Paint.
it's a face
With-
already, so you want to just cover it up. Put some like
No. You know
It's all
why?
of
put some
black
white
and
out
white.
on it.
I'll tell you why. Because guess what I'm going to do
Listen,
this
you.
Thanksgiving?
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna
You're gonna
share-
kill your older brother.
Oh no!
Tell you what.
I'm gonna share.
Phone in the soup.
No, it's like, hey, you remember older brothers? Remember how I used to wreck my stuff? Well, hey, look at this! Look what I just found.
Wow.
And
Yeah, and that'll teach him.
Yeah, he'll be just taken aback by that. He'll be like,
Yeah. How
Oh, shrink
Never
into
had
the
a
corner.
stupid older brother.
but Sean, I will be satisfied because
Okay.
I don't think he knows
You
about
will
our
never
so
be
relationship.
all that time, all
Can
those
we
years
get
you've
to
been
where you
saving
have found a new one now? Can we get to the end of this?
Is that what happened? Did you get a new one?
No,
Did
not
you
yet.
replace it? Okay.
What?
No, because I expect my brother to get me one. And here's the
Okay.
thing
He
that
should.
really burns
He really
me.
should.
Wow.
Here's the thing that really burns me. So I showed him the famous monsters and he felt bad. He goes, oh, I'll get you another one. Oh, God, well, okay. Here's the issue. Well, it's been like 5 years. And it's like, come on. So now I'm going to bring this skull. I'm going to say, hey, look what else you wrecked. Are you going to get me one of these? Hopefully
Happy
within the next 5
Thanksgiving.
years. Yes. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. That's what families are all about.
So he didn't replace the magazine?
Not yet.
I have it
Okay.
I
digitally if you
still, I
want it.
still hope. I still hope. he
Pristine
will.
digital. All
What?
those magazines are digital now. There's a
Yeah, you
site
can.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Ken. What is your point?
He
What?
doesn't-
You can't physically touch it digitally.
Yeah, we're the
can print it
physical
out.
media
Computer?
folks.
Oh, Ken. Oh, I can touch the screen.
Wait, hang on a
Oh.
second. If you got
No,
the real magazine, you would read it? You would open it?
Yes, and
Oh.
page through it.
Are you okay?
Yeah, but you wear gloves, right? You want to get your oils on it,
Yeah, in a
Yeah.
temperature controlled
right?
room.
Right? I mean, come on.
Do you wear
Pages
gloves,
yellow,
Do
page
you-
no.
Well, if you're just tuning in, this
Fearsome
No one's
food.
just tuning in.
If you're
This
just
is at
tuning
the
in, you're on
end.
a radio.
This is
Yeah.
they're tuning out, is what's happening.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey,
Chewy.
hey,
Come
James,
in Alaska.
what's the weather like where you are?
Okay, what the fuck? Why do we have to go through this every single time? What's the weather like?
Hot.
Palm
Palm Springs.
I bought a twizzle stick at the Ben Franklin, and my brother put it in his ass, and now it's
Is
more
that true?
half the price.
Did your brother put a twizzle stick in his ass?
Yeah.
That's how rumors get started.
Well, this is
Just ask Richard Gere and
this. Oh no. This is great. But Ken, we want to thank you for being with us for this.
I would like to
Festive-
You're welcome,
festive
you,
holiday.
for
I'm always
being with us,
delighted to see your smiling face.
As
Now-
am I.
Oh, and by the way, Ken, the
What?
movies that you suggested
Yeah,
were fantastic.
yeah. Good stuff.
If you guys
Talk to
haven't
Me?
seen the movie Talk to Me, it's
No, what's
brilliant.
Oh my God!
Is it a
please.
horror film?
Yeah, yeah.
Horror film.
It's
Really?
good.
Okay.
Australian.
Yeah, it's borderline like an Ari Aster movie, but not quite.
Huh. Okay. Recent. Just came out.
Very recent.
Okay.
It
Can
came out in June. But
Can you understand the people talking? Okay, can you? Because they got that that Aussie.
oh yeah, yeah, you can.
Yes.
it's
yes,
not. It's
they-
not.
Yeah, they're not too. The accents aren't like in the bush kind of a thing. They're citified.
And you watched No One Can Help You. No One Can Save You. I mean,
No one
No
can,
one can save you.
So
Yeah.
No One Can Save You
two really
is-
great movies.
is so great and poignant, and the ending I thought
Yeah,
was
it's a very interesting ending.
magnificent. Magnificent.
Okay. I'm writing it
And
down.
I didn't.
and
I had
so-
a problem with the ending at first, but then after I let it sit for a while, I was fine with it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What I like is that as it's unraveling in front of you, you're kind of like, what? Wait, what? And
Yeah.
you need a minute to let it soak in.
Okay.
But I thought it was wonderful. And I think, Sean, you'll really be impressed by how they use CGI.
Okay. Okay.
And
I'll check it out.
Isn't it the Love and Monsters guy?
Yes, who also did a wonderful job with that movie too, with the
Yeah.
CGI. All
He
those
did a-
creatures.
he
Oh
did a
yeah,
really
those
nice
creatures were
touch.
amazing. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Alien invasion, alien abduction
Okay.
movie. Really creepy, fun. You
5
don't know
words of
where it's
dialogue.
going. Yeah, it's
Wow.
horrific.
Okay.
So
Cool.
good.
So the first film is No One Can Save You, and what's the other
No
one?
one can save you.
Talk
and,
to me.
and talk to me.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you,
on,
Ken.
on our
And-
list.
And for some lighthearted fun, not in the same category, but I did enjoy watching it, was Totally Killer.
Oh yeah,
I've
I
seen
haven't
seen
it.
ads for that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you end up watching The Murmuring on the Del Toros?
I've watched
No.
all the Cabinet of Curiosities. Those are I like those.
Very uneven.
Ironically, I thought the Lovecraft stories were the uneven ones, and most of the other ones I really liked.
True.
Yeah, when they
Crispin
were
Glover
when
is
they got
horrible, though.
when they were period,
It's a weird
it
accent.
seemed to be a little. But
Yeah.
the-
Yeah.
the- I liked the.
But I liked the last one.
The one I like the one with Peter Weller. I thought that was
Yeah,
crazy weird.
Yeah, don't
the
tell me.
autopsy one.
Okay.
The autopsy one was
It's
great.
good.
And then the Lot
Yes.
46 or
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
that
That was the
was
what's
first
his
one, I
name?
think.
Did you see the one with what's his name from Walking Dead?
no.
Where
We've
he's
only
actually
watched
not
two.
horrible.
Wow.
Oh wait,
Okay.
I think so. I'm not trying to remember, but I
The
think I've
last
seen-
one. The last one is Rick from Walking
Oh
Dead.
yes, yes. I
And
like
he's
that
Oh,
one.
good
you,
at
you were
it.
saying, everyone was saying that it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
amazing.
no,
he
it's-
can act.
He actually, he's good in that. Yeah. Yep. Cool.
All right.
Right.
Great.
All right. See you
Is this
later.
are we
Thanks. Bye.
are we calling this fearsome foods plural or singular?
I kind of like fearsome food, as in food is a
Yeah.
general.
Singular. I agree.
We're not talking about like the last one was meals,
Gatherings,
dinner.
right.
gatherings, right?
This is
a
actual
dinner,
food items.
the food items.
Right. And we can kind of hit some sci-fi stuff, I guess, right? If it's gonna
No, yeah,
No,
no.
we're gonna hit some
Yeah.
sci-fi stuff.
Yeah, for sure,
fearsome
for
could
sure.
be in any genre.
right. Okay. Cool.
Well, okay. I have some
Space
sci-fi
food sticks.
yeah, good. Good.
Yeah.
Wait, real things or things?
No,
that
It can be.
film?
It can
I
be.
just threw
We
that
can,
out
we
there.
can hit on some real things, but I think it's mostly cinematic stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we don't want to go into a long list of the foods I could go on for an hour about asparagus. And
I could. No, we could touch on
how
some
it
stuff
is
we
evil
don't like.
incarnate. So yeah, and sci-fi, I would think sci-fi is fine.
Yeah.
It's just all the same stuff we
Absolutely.
normally talk about.
Yeah, and fearsome food. It's like some are kind of fierce. Some are to me strange. some
Yeah.
are,
Yeah, that
Exactly.
works.
something that was food related that I
Weird
responded
yeah.
that I responded to.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
that's how I looked at it, and I
I
figured,
respond to
fine.
all food.
if I'm so odd, if
Me
I'm
too.
so odd, I'm sure you
I eat
guys
it.
would be close enough to the topic where it would all be
Yeah.
Yeah.
interesting
Yeah.
and fun.
All right. Good luck to all of us.
Wow. There's a lot.
Save the queen.
There's a lot riding on this episode. So
That's
yeah,
right.
where this one's going to be submitted for the
The $1
potties.
million episode.
The bodies.
Okay.